Hello, tankers. Today, we'll talk about what vehicles are in the game, which are best for new players to research, and how to accelerate the process. All vehicles in the game are divided into 5 types: heavy tanks, medium tanks, light tanks, tank destroyers, and artillery. Heavy tanks hold the line and push through enemy defenses. Medium tanks are versatile fighters. Light tanks are quick and stealthy. They're the eyes and ears of the team. Artillery is a support type that fires at a curved trajectory. Tank destroyers either provide fire support from afar or in the thick of the action, depending on their role. Roles are a more precise division than types. It's like a wizard can throw fireballs, or be a healer, or a necromancer. 3 mages play completely different roles in battle. The same goes for vehicles. Sniper and assault tank destroyers are designed for completely different actions on the battlefield. Don't rush to the front line in a sniper TD, and don't stand behind everyone in an assault TD, even though the vehicle type is the same. We won't cover every role here since their names speak for themselves. Just know that tanks within one vehicle type can play differently. What exactly should you research? What types, roles, and branches suit newcomers best of all? Generally speaking, any. But it's probably best to choose breakthrough heavy tanks or assault heavy tanks as your first branch. They forgive your mistakes and, most importantly, help you to get to grips with the gameplay basics. Heavy tanks are the skeleton that the teams and the whole battle are built around. That doesn't mean other types and roles are worse. You can always start with medium tanks or tank destroyers, but it'll be easier to learn the ropes playing in the IS-4, IS-7, E100, or 60TP. To purchase a tank, you need to research it using XP accumulated in the previous vehicle in the branch. Then purchase it for credits and recruit a crew if you need to. Don't recruit a new crew for each tank. It's usually enough to retain your crew from the previous tank to the next one. The next step is module research. Players call vehicles stock and top. Pretty much any vehicle only reaches its full potential when it's top, meaning all its modules are researched. Players often research a new gun first of all, and then everything else. There are many ways to accelerate your research of a vehicle branch. Blueprints provide you a big discount on research. For free XP, you can research modules or even a new tank. Premium account and personal reserves will help you earn XP and credits faster. Joining a good clan that activates clan reserves often will also help. Missions and Battle Pass will allow you to earn a lot of useful resources. Sometimes you can also go to your depot and sell vehicles, modules, or shells you don't need. Premium vehicles will come in handy for earning credits for purchasing vehicles, equipment, and other things. You receive them in top state. You can assign any crew from a vehicle of the same nation and type to a premium vehicle without any penalties to perk efficiency. Premium vehicles are always available for purchase for gold or money, but there are several ways to get them for free. First, Battle Pass seasons sometimes feature an additional chapter. Secondly, the Bond Shop also offers premium vehicles, among other things. Bonds are a currency that you can't buy. You need to earn them. They are earned in random battles with Tier 10s and Tier 9 premium vehicles and as rewards from battle passes, special events, and more. Don't confuse premium vehicles with reward vehicles. The latter also don't require module research, and the crews can be reassigned to them without penalties, but they don't have an increased credit and XP earning rate either. So we've chosen a branch and purchased a tank. How do you equip it for battle? There are 2 classic consumable sets. The first is cheaper, small repair kit and first aid kit, and a fire extinguisher. The second set is for playing for result. large repair kit, first aid kit, and a food consumable for the crew. Most tanks are most effective with this set. If you're looking for an alternative to a food consumable, consider any type of fuel. It will improve engine power and traverse speed. Your equipment selection depends on the type and specific vehicle. Improved hardening is almost a must-have for heavy tanks. Turbocharger is useful for all vehicles, but especially for medium tanks. Coated optics helps light tanks the most. And almost all tanks with cyclic loading can't do without gun rammer. The optimal loadout can change from one vehicle to another. Crew perks also depend on one vehicle type, but to a lesser extent. For example, Brothers in Arms and Repairs are useful for all tanks in the game, while Concealment shouldn't be trained first for many vehicles. Field Modification is additional tuning for an elite vehicle that has all its modules and next vehicles in the branch researched. But the key isn't just equipping your vehicle correctly, it's mastering how to play it. Focus on your tank's type and role. In a heavy tank, position yourself on the front line. Learn how to absorb damage and trade shots efficiently. Be where your team needs you. Play your role, play smart, and watch how your skills naturally improve. That's it for today. See you soon.
The enemy is flanking us. We've lost a vehicle. 3 left.
Hello, I'm Miriam, and this is Raumfalter. This device is like a magic hat that you can put anything into. From priceless art masterpieces to entire tanks. Isn't science fascinating? Soon, we will be able to produce them on an industrial scale using Professor Casada's drawings. This ingenious device creates pocket dimensions based on my unique properties. Just imagine what opportunities it opens up. You can move any volume of payload anywhere and whenever you want. Isn't it wonderful?
What's up, tankers? Let's get our teeth into the best scouts and raiders on tracks, or wheels. That's right, light tanks. To get the most from these nippy little vehicles, you'll need to practice and to brush up on view range and concealment. Not long ago, we did some videos about those, so check them out if you need to. The links are in the description. Lights are often quick and tricky to spot, and they can have high-caliber howitzers or even autocannons. Low-tier lights don't have roles, and calling them scouts would be a stretch. They're versatile, and their characteristics can vary a lot, and so can their armor. You can fight in them like a medium or sometimes even a heavy tank. From about Tier 5 or 6 upward, that's no longer the case. At that point, you start getting some real niche specialists. They're raiders and scouts that spot for teammates. Lights also gain a shared trait. They can move without it affecting their concealment. Whether standing or moving, you still won't get spotted before the same distance. This vehicle class only has 2 roles: tracked versatile light tanks and wheeled ones. First, let's deal with the old faithful, and then later we'll get to the wheeled lights and how they differ from their tracked classmates. Light tank gameplay depends less on the role and more on your own play style. Think of it in terms of passive and active. Passive players settle in and capitalize on their concealment. Active ones monopolize the map with their movement. Any light tank can play both ways. You can set yours for either passive, active, or somewhere in between. So how do you prepare a scout for battle? First, a lick of paint. Any camo on a vehicle's hull boosts its permanent concealment bonus, which is vital for a light tank. The more, the better. Train crew perks that improve view range and concealment. Keep your radio operator on your radar. They have a few good perks that are very handy for light tanks. More perks than slots, in fact, so choose wisely. As for consumables, food ones will pad you out in all the right areas: view range, concealment, and firepower. Equipment can improve your scouting ability, making you harder to spot or boost your firepower. Mix and match to suit your playstyle. A good scout will want coated optics and commander's vision system mounted. For passive spotting or for mid-tier lights, consider binocular telescope. If you want a ninja on tracks, then mount low-noise exhaust system. If you also want to focus on shooting, consider something like a rammer or stabilizer. Improved ventilation gives you a little all-round boost. In place of turbocharger, you can equip the mobility improvement system respectively to bolster your ride that bit more. Make sure you research field modifications to build up 2 loadouts for different maps. For example, the first would have coated optics, commander's vision system, and low-noise exhaust. And the second would have ventilation, stabilizer, and gun rammer. That way you'll feel right at home, whether you're playing on Prokhorovka or Himmelsdorf. Phew! We've finally set up our dream light tank and are eager to head into battle. But what should you do in battle? How can you contribute? First, look at how many other lights are in your team and where they're headed. Scouts should spread out across different positions and even flanks. In the first minutes of battle, do some initial spotting for your team. Your teammates will really appreciate knowing how many opponents are on whichever flank. To spot enemy vehicles, you need to quickly get to a place that lets you see their approach route. To do that, you need to know the maps and remember the routes tanks take. It's safest to spot from bushes, but I came, I saw, I fled tactics can work too. That way, you'll likely get spotted. Just the time to remember how to rally drive. Then you can find a bush and spot from there. It's safer. If necessary, move from bush to bush, approaching or fleeing if there's danger. A moving light tank's non-reducing concealment comes in really handy for those short bursts. When you approach bushes, don't forget the proximity spotting circle. If you want to scout, you need to know about this. So how do we know where's the best to spot from? Look at where your teams and the enemy's light tanks are located, and remember the positions. For example, on steps, it's usually best to take a central position. On Lakeville, you should be on the central line or near the town. On mines, the bushes, both on the hill and in the water, are best. On Prokhorovka, you want the line of bushes on the alley or the hill if your team has enough lights on the alley. On Outpost, head for the bushes in the middle of the lake. Those are just...
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Onslaught Legends Series Season 3. where I, Ikibu, are going to be helping Daki, who is the man, the myth, the Onslaught legend, and all-around Onslaught and competitive guru, is going to be helping me along. So introduce yourself, Daki.
Hi guys, I'm the Killzer, I'm new here. Today we're going to be watching some Onslaught Legends Series Season 3, sponsored by AMD. Mafia versus Cashback is a good match to get into it, David. Two teams that are very, very good, of course. First up, schedule. Today, Thursday, the 22nd of May, is the final day of Phase 2 before we head into the playoffs on Saturday and Sunday. Now, David, if I was going to ask you, which team do you think is going to win those entire playoffs?
So I did put my predictions in earlier. I'm not sure if we're going to get those, but of course, first up, we have the prize pool where we're going to have currently distributed with the winners as part of the Onslaught bundles and with the sponsorship from AMD, where together we advance gaming. The prize pool is constantly going up, of course, as people purchase those bundles, where the OLF is going to be coming from the NA winners. You can see the prize distribution there. I'm not sure who your money is on to win this grand prize pool.
For an A or you?
Both.
On an A, I would have said Dopa, but of course the winners on a U are also getting these AMD Ryzen 9800 X3D CPUs. Absolutely a steal for how good they are, so they're going to be very happy with that. But on an A, I would have guessed Dopa, but they're out already, so I think my money there is going to be going on Stacked. And for EU, I said at the beginning of the season, I think Mafia is going to take it. I'm going to stay with that. It's like the underdog pick. However, these bundles, we talked about them, they are still available. They are available, I think, until after the finals even altogether. You can get the base, the advanced, or if you like the camos altogether, you can get those from Season 1 and Season 2 and upgrade your style if you have the possibility of doing so. So those are still available as well. I know that Kihan is going to spend his entire next paycheck on those.
I'll admit to doing it myself as well. Of course, we do have Twitch drops going on right now where you can get yourself some OLS tokens, with Sunday being the last chance. But here we are today where you can get yourself 5 tokens for the day. And then on Saturday, you'll be able to get yourself 10. And then on Sunday, you'll have 10 as well. So make sure if you're short of any, now's a good time as any to collect them. Get yourself some nice rewards from the token store.
Yeah, there's a big boost still coming with today and the weekend, of course. And you can spend those on tanks, 3D styles, 2D styles, equipment, premium days, consumable, or personal reserves. I think we've got a little bit of everything in there.
And where are you spending your tokens, Daki?
I'm one of those people that doesn't collect myself, so make sure that there's enough for others.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would advise everybody to get the KV2 style, but maybe that's just me. So, of course, here's today's lineup where Mafia versus Cashback starting off, and then game 2, we have Yogurt versus Darkside, and then finally, Hit versus W.
There's some important matches there, just to give some context. Yogurt versus Darkside is probably the most important match of today. The reason why being is that this season, compared to Season 2 and Season 1, position number 5, where Darkside is currently, is a very important one. The reason for this is number 5 does not need to participate in the relegations and gets a little bit of prize money as well, while number 6 gets absolutely nothing in terms of prize money and has to go through those relegations to stay into season number 4. The winner of that is going to be number 5.
Yeah, and I know that's, like you said, that's the prize pool. That's where everybody wants to be in that money. And I was briefed by both Phil and Keyhand about the importance of Hit's position right now, where basically they're safe. They don't need to coast, but good for them. So here's the bit where, for me, I did have my money on Cashback. I don't know about you. I haven't looked at your prediction just yet, but I did make sure to fill mine in earlier. Where are you putting yours?
I'm pretty sure I voted for Cashback, to be honest. But then again, you got to remember that this is like today is like a general rehearsal. Yeah. To be honest, for all the top 4 teams, it's like a general rehearsal for the playoffs. You want to head in those playoffs with the best possible feeling, I would assume, where you would take the last win and you're like, okay, we're ready to rock and roll into those playoffs. However, they could also be on the part of, we don't really care that much and we don't want to reveal any of our strategies.
So here we can see Prufus I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. With some of the stats that's going on there with a 0.9 KD ratio, average damage of 3k, and a pen rate of 91%. Definitely better than mine. With his tanks being the BZ-75, the Foch B, and the Bliskovica, which I also hope I pronounced correctly. Do you expect a strong showing from Prufus here?
It's pretty reliable. He doesn't form the standout tanks too much, but that's because that's usually players like, you know, for Mafia, YOLO, and Kono, light tank players, you know, RHM and EBR player, or for Cashback, Liberty and Squeezy, EBR and RHM players there. Those people stand out usually a bit more because of the role that they're playing within the team as well. You know, those lights are super, super important. But every team needs those good old-fashioned, reliable players that perform on their tanks just as well. For just light players, you're not going very far.
And it looks like everybody agrees with our assessment of Cashback probably going to win this with a 73 to just above 20% for Mafia. Here we can see the map pick bans. Is this what you expected as well from the teams? I'm seeing...
Yeah, no surprise. I mean, Cliff, Mafia, we talk about it quite often, like every player, that their playstyle now is a bit slower, more methodical, controlled. Cliff does not really suit that playstyle, to be honest. You know, it's quick and action-packed. You don't really have opportunities to slow it down too often. The Ensk ban from Cashback is interesting. If this continues into the playoff, will be another question, because I think this is at least 3 or 4 playdays in a row where they have insta-banned Ensk. If they don't want to play it, that could be one thing, but it could also just be that they're keeping whatever they have on it until the playoffs. Gives us Westfield as first one, though. Mafia will not be able to avoid the action because Westfield is very fast-paced.
Yeah, I've been watching a couple of your streams when you've been playing it, and it tends to be a rather just crash in the middle and hope for the best occasionally. Ensk, I think I'm curious to see if they're hiding a strategy for that for when we come to the later play days with best of 11s, whereas right now we're coming to we're sticking with best of 7s. So maybe they're hoping to hide a few strategies without letting everybody know what they're up to.
Or they just hate the map. And then afterwards, we get Sand River into Morovanka, but it's going to be for Mafia survival AMO in Westfield. Try and not get run over by Cashback. We saw Mafia get run over actually by W even after they won the first 2 rounds, and then they lost the next 4. Cashback, a different style of team though, more like a hit and run in a way, quick and aggressive, and Mafia needs to be able to hold that aggression.
And here we can see pretty much we have similar predictions. Moth, bless him, with the 4-3 standing out from Videls's 4-2. I'm hoping that my prediction game is still on from what it used to be. What lineout are you expecting from the teams on this map?
Kind of depends. Westfield is a high variety kind of map nowadays. You see everything on it. You could see Foch Bs, we could see 50Bs, CSs, 50Ms, K91s, even Bliskavic's, BZs. Everything is possible. You can see Mafia is going for that bit slower style.
Yeah.
EBR, RHM, K91, E50, double CS63, and a BZ75.
Yeah, so I'm seeing Cashback definitely going for more, hoping for a clash. Mafia, they are changing up a little bit, maybe trying to keep for the range and long distance. I'm interested to see how that strategy is going to go, because I don't think I've seen a lineup like that yet on Westfield.
I mean, they have to play more control, especially because Cashback is looking for the direct fight with the triple BZ, the triple Bliska, and the Uras, of course, the Inspire tank to help those BZs lackluster DPM. But Mafia does have a few good things for them. K91 gets a mini strike, is able to reset the cap, for example, when it comes down to it, and they get quick and early information. So the question is, what does Cashback do? Because they're going to take the mid strike, but if the K91 gets the reset with the EBR, the RHM, it could be a slow game of chip damage.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see if Cashback just ignores the EBR and doesn't even worry about it, or if the EBR is going to try and get a sneak with the Bliskovica, probably trying to stop him from getting into a key position. We can see the cap pressure on there, but like you mentioned, that Artie should be able to help decap that easy enough without any issues.
I mean, they're split up well on the cap at least, so only one will be hit by the strike, normally speaking. It's Aka. The K91 has not gotten a mini strike just yet, so it will be a BZ75 that is forced by the looks of things to block Profus. He was the standout player we talked about.
Yeah.
Is forced in. There is a mini strike there coming out, but this is going to be a BZ75 down and out very, very early for Mafia, who want to play that control battle, but losing a tank this early may spiral out of control altogether. Twilight picks it up. That's Profuse out.
Yeah, it's a bit hard as well to lose one of those kind of, like you said earlier, the more reliable tanks and more reliable players. So now you're kind of having to rely on the more Maverick and hoping the stars really shine by pulling out key positions and plays. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking to expect to see if the K91's going to apply any more pressure or move up to a more aggressive spot to decap. But I think he's remaining spotted for now without too much worry.
Mafia needs to find a reset here. They have a mini strike on Conrad and on Orchek, who I think is blind striking actually altogether. He misses, but it's Conrad that does hit, takes a shot of damage in return. That will result into him getting another strike. He's going in now, going over, trying to block this cap again. It's 5,000 lead for Mafia. Conrad in that CS63, not gonna live too much longer either. Orchek spotted out in the back as well, and the trades so far for Mafia are a disaster as they lose another tank, and everywhere else on the map it doesn't seem to be going that much better for them.
Yeah, I'm noticing Cashback are just playing this very controlled, very reserved, just waiting for the Mafia to make a mistake or even just aggressive decap. Just basically letting them come to them. It looks like they're going to be able to mop up relatively easy now, unless that K91 performs a miracle. But yeah, I think this is pretty much a G for Cashback right now.
Yeah, Cashback put in the triple cap. The strike only hits one. They're forced to use Profuse because they're kind of hoping that either Conrad or Orchek gets a shot early in the game. Reason why is if the CS is able to generate a mini strike, they're not forced to put Profuse in, and he doesn't die. But neither Conrad, I think, or Orchek had a mini strike in the beginning, so you're forced to put that BZ onto the cap. He blocks, he dies, and the story repeats itself.
Yeah, well played by Cashback there. I think Mafia did try and do what they could, but unfortunately was just a little bit too short for... I don't know, I guess it's the steel nerve of Cashback there that was helping them come through.
I mean, they had a good game, and the double light struggles against zero lights in a way because there's so many tanks, so many HP that they have to get through. They're unable to do that altogether, and then they just run into a wall, repushing twice, losing 2 tanks for it, losing everywhere else on the map. Yeah, it was not pretty for Mafia whatsoever.
Yeah, so I'm just making sure I've got the battle results up this time. As for those that are not familiar, it's been a while since I've been on this desk with Daki, so Daki's going to have to carry me through while I look at notes. So here we've got ourselves the player statistics. Well, let's have a look at Cashback first, of course. Dominant display, not losing a single vehicle. We've got the Barbarian here. Pretty solid stats going on. Anybody that stood out for you?
No, it's just a good spread across the team. This wasn't really like a... And nobody really had to carry for them, you know, like nobody really had to do too much. It was pretty straightforward after killing the BZ. And, I mean, for Mafia, you'll see Profuse probably 1 shot of damage. They did have the K91 do 4.7 still, nonetheless, so Orchek did that much, but you still have those light tanks doing not too much either. It also got to keep in mind that they're down a lot of HP from the beginning, from the fact that they have double light versus... 0 lights altogether.
Losing Profuse early for that freedom was... I guess it's a sacrifice they had to make, otherwise lose by cap anyway. But yeah, I think that was a fairly dominant display from Cashback there. Pretty much what everybody predicted. Hopefully Mafia can react, not panic, maybe, or overthink the next play that they have on Westfield.
Again, it really depends for me to see how both of these teams are going to play out this match. You know, it's not going to be the most important match in the world, but like I said, general rehearsal for the playoffs. You still want to at least put up a good showing and see how you match up against a possible opponent later on at any given point. And Mafia, a double light against Cashback. Cashback has been this season very much leaning into the 0 lights, so Mafia going with double was already like, you know, you're playing Cashback, they're probably either playing 1 light or 0 lights, so you're always going to be in a little bit of trouble.
And do you think at this stage of the season, knowing where the placements are right now, I know you said it was an important one, but I know a big deal it used to be in old 15v15 days was trying to conserve as any key strategies that you had in the later stages of the tournament.
I mean, you definitely won't be using too many, like if you had like some strats that you would want to play, this is not the match to play them in.
Yep. I imagine most people keep it relatively close to the heart, hide as much as they can.
There's no reason to it. Why would you? Like now is not the time. Saving strats only goes that far as well, of course. Like in the playoffs, you don't really want to do it, but here it is completely fine. Mafia, however, are taking a different kind of approach compared to game number 1. BZ, AX, Triple Blitzcraft, Fush B, and an Archam.
There's definitely a little bit more blunt force trauma to hoping to blunt Cashback's advance through this match. Cashback, of course, going with 2 Fosh Bs, a Ram, Bliskavitsa, K91, CS, and a Mouse, which maybe they're hoping to sponge in the middle or control the cap.
I mean, they have the K91 this time, so he's probably going to be playing around the same area you saw Orchak in before, which was around A5, trying to generate those mini strikes. But not even that, he's actually going with the rest of the team. Good plane coming out from either side, 5 tanks spotted from Mafia, 5 tanks spotted from Cashback as well. So both teams have pretty good info on the initial opening altogether.
Yeah, and I was told by Phil to make extra special attention to the fact if they manage to get those planes successfully done at the beginning, it allows them to throw the plane out shortly after as well on cooldown. We can see both of them manage to pull that off. Yeah, it looks like objective play here. Mouse definitely going to try and play for that arty strike, with the Bliskovitzes maybe waiting for it. Not sure how that's going to work.
I mean, there is a big strike already generated on Twilight, and when he puts it, he'll get a mini strike out of it as well. So we've got to take that into account. I see Cashback coming back over. Liberty does get spotted out. He does find a reset though, so that takes it down a little bit lower. He does bleed a lot of HP in return for that 2 shots taken, but it does buy, again, time for his team to start approaching. Fush Biavaka leading the charge, Squeezy taking the shot, Little coming back in as well. And now we can see a setup Mafia though into the repush from Cashback, which will arrive before the rest of the team from Mafia is there, because look at the Echo 4 square, you can still see that Fush B coming in off Conrad, but the fight will just reset. The BZ of Profuse pull him back towards B1, and now they might actually want to go for this Mouse or Barbarian, but that's still a Mouse nonetheless.
Yeah. That's a lot of hit points to chew through, but it looks like they are making a good work of it. It'd be interesting to see if Cashback does push through the cap with the risk of getting farmed. Yep, here it comes. So they've realized the Mouse is going to get chewed up, so they'll take the advantage and trade the Bliskavitsa for it with the Mouse. And now it looks like Mafia are also going to take advantage of that counter push.
Yeah, Mafia decided to, sorry for that, quickly get into the fight after the Mouse took all the damage. And they actually probably made a mistake focusing on the Mouse, because it gave Cashback an opportunity to peek over, but they already did so much damage initially though that now they look to be pretty fine nonetheless.
Yeah, it's relatively close here. I don't know which way this will go, because yeah, the one shots are going to be taken down relatively easy, but the positions are just so spread out. Yeah, I don't know which way this will go, to be honest.
I mean, Brainbreaker facing off against YOLO. YOLO misses the shot there. Gotta be careful. That K91 has disastrous DPM. The mini shot coming out as well. YOLO bouncing another shot. That's a disaster for Mafia waiting to happen. YOLO's gonna die, actually, fluffing not 1 but 2 shots. And all of a sudden, Cashback turn this around. It could have been a 3-on-3 with a light tank and 2 TDs, which would have been great for Mafia, actually, because the light can play the off angles and the CS63 is a 1-shot. But now, instead it's a 4-on-2 that turns into a 4-on-1. And that K91, you would think that it's always a pen, but it does have a few annoying angles that you can bounce on.
Yeah,
and
K91.
I think that's what happened.
He did a good job of taking the tanks out of the fight there. The Fosh B, of course, having to try and YOLO him down before it was too late. But like you said, at that point in time, it was, yeah, decided, good job, held their nerve, picked the right time to push, counter push, and even just, I think it was very good focus fire as well. I think overall from there was no hesitancy. It looked like a lot of good calls.
I think the Mafia wins that fight if YOLO actually just kills the K91, which he should, because a 3-on-3 with a CS63 1-shot versus full HP TDs and a light that can just take the strike, and you know, you disengage, you use the planes, you strike the CS63 at some point. it's GG, but then that turned the fight around. Yeah, focusing the mouse did a lot of damage, but at the same time, when everybody shoots the mouse, this buys an opportunity. And the opportunity there is very obvious in a way, right? You know, mouse takes all the damage and you peek over and you kill somebody. And that was Yuzek that they blew up. The mouse is, yeah, okay, you do 2.5k damage, but it's the perfect engage for cashback. You know, mouse took all the damage, we can peek.
Yeah. Like, as I mentioned, mouse was there mostly to sponge and control. Still did some decent damage while it was going down for it, so that's good job. K91, that 5.5k, and then the CS doing 4.5 is pretty solid work going on there. From cashback, here we go with Mafia, and yeah, evenly distributed, but just not enough.
Across the board, I mean, their spread is good, right? There's no real standout, except for those 2 bounces from YOLO. Again, I will say general rehearsal, but those kind of fights, like losing that, even if you don't care, it's annoying to just die from like 1,000+ HP against the K91. You're like, that shouldn't happen. That should never happen. But it's Westfield done, kind of as expected that cashback would take Westfield. But this could have been very much a 1-1 coming out of this. Now, Sand River is a bit different, it's a bit slower altogether compared to Westfield. It's a more open map as well.
Yeah, I think Mafia now needs just to let that one go. Focus on the next match. Don't panic. Don't try and play into cashback's hands, which I think they kind of did a little bit in that last game at the end of Westfield there, second round. Here with Sand River, I know it's a little bit slower. Things can be very dynamic in terms of strategies. Is there anything that you would like to share with your wisdom on what we might expect to see here?
I have no clue what we're going to see. There's many things that are possible. We'll just say that we saw last play that we saw a lot of teams go full K-line, like you would see in a 15v15, and that is a mistake. Because nowadays, when you take full K-line, you lose control over the middle area, and when the enemy team takes that middle area, it's very hard to come back in.
Yeah, even in randoms, that hurts when they have that control. There's just no way around. And here we can have a look up at Mafia taking the MVY, a couple of CSs, fair few CSs now. Yeah, it's a lot of CSs. Light and 1 IS7. 2 IS7s. They're going to change a little bit more. Cashback coming in with the BZ, the E100, Cran, 2 MV, 3 MVYs, and an M60. Your favorite vehicle, Daki?
You know, my trauma with the M60 had been resolved, to be honest. The very interesting pick there is the Cran wagon.
Yeah.
That is a pick. I think that's probably the first pick in the 3 seasons we've had of Onslaught. Onslaught Legends series. I've never seen it before. Of course, the modifiers of the mode itself do help the Cran, right?
Yep.
And of course, the ability as well, which is the same ability as, if I'm not mistaken, the 50B has and D57. So lower intra-clip and better handling. So in that regard, you know, maybe not a bad pick for this scenario altogether. If you can play hold on and get shots out, you could see that they're not really giving up their base and the middle fully, realizing that it's not good to do so, and he's already taken a shot, but he can still sit pretty hold down. Gotta remember though, the Cran is only really strong frontally. You see, part of the side turret ain't that great.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be okay there, but not if that Hurricane manages to get around for free. But the M60 should keep him relatively controlled. I7 dropping back probably come to the Mivi, or is he gonna push through the river? I'm not sure. But yeah, very slow, very cautious. I think Mafia learned their lesson in the last game and just want to slow it down, as you mentioned, as they normally do. Spoke too soon. Here they come to try and push onto the M60, take him out as quickly as they can. But yeah, cashback are ready for it, it seems.
The M60 is going to face off in a 1v1 against Yuzek. Yuzek might have wanted to go for the ram, but he got tracked already on the way down, and now he's just going to face off 1v1 against the M60, who pops the Inspire as well. That's a boost to the crew skills. This is not a 1v1 that the IS-7 is supposed to be winning, because there's also strikes from Cashback, of course, which they're now starting to use on Yuzek to lower his HP. Profuse pushes back in, but he's taken a decent amount of damage for this as well. And sure, they will find the M60, but the cost of this hasn't been the best altogether. Profuse now taking a strike. One more shot maybe from Aka. No more shots from Aka. Little coming in, gives one to the IS-7. Liberty coming in as well from behind. Needs to support his friend Little with a shot. they do that, but there comes the rest of Mafia. Conrad, YOLO, and Kono in quick succession coming back into this pit play, while in return, there's another push coming out from Cashback into the base, into the middle of the Mafia side, killing that IS-7 off, but this loss of 3 tanks in the north is gonna be hard to recover.
Yeah, so Mafia, I think, maybe reacted a little bit slowly there. We can see how they're going onto the other side of the map. But yeah, that M60 managed to hold off, I think, just long enough there with the IS-7 and waiting for reinforcements. We can see relatively even hit points going on right now. Opposite sides of control on the map. I think that looks like Orzek is going to try and just stay alive as long as he can for the CS and the Hurricane to come across to give some help. This Kran is getting caught out. 100 LT is going to try and bully him from behind while the other CS runs away.
Toilette will do a full clip though.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I mean, he's starting to clip out against his T100. Well, he only gets 1 actually. A good repeat from the CS63 of Kono to make sure that YOLO doesn't lose all of his HP. And all of a sudden, 5 on 3. Without a light, without really mobile tanks, this is going to be very, very hard for them.
Yeah, Cashback needs to pull some form of miracle out here. Of course, I don't mind as long as my prediction goes well. We can see Barbarian and Orzek playing off against each other with the fancy turrets with the 2 Mivis. Barbarian shouldn't mess this up, I don't think, especially with Brain Break come across to come and help. But there's a CS joining in the fight from the back. Going to be a nasty surprise for Barbarian. Let's see if they can get this out before he drops too quick.
I mean, the BZ will give a shot and then Barbarian should finish, but the cost has been pretty high. A strike coming out as well. That's beautiful. T100 from the middle even.
Well played.
Getting a shot out and a squeezy left standing. Yeah, there was some north control from Cashback there, but they were not able to punish this zero line push quite heavily enough. And then they tried to repush, but Mafia was quick to bring it back, push back those 2 tanks. Things could have been slightly different if more kills were generated, but being left with just heavies against the mobile lineup is always going to be very hard. Mafia at least picking up this round, making it 2-1.
Yep, it's well played by Mafia. I think they might have panicked at some point with... I take it all back. What do I know? With those CSs and the Hurricane holding back. But yeah, looks like they did pick the right time to push without donating too many hit points there to probably the Crown Bargain on the way back. So I'm just waiting for the battle results to come through. Just click on this one for you. And so, yeah, Squeezy, as you'll see in a second, was top performer on the damage there.
I mean, the Crown didn't do that bad, 3.1. I think they just weren't able to cover all angles well enough still with the K-line presence. Not cover AK for enough that they were able to trade successfully out of it. You also want to keep the Inspire tank alive as long as possible, of course. It's a nice thing to have. But the Hurricanes here, and even the light tank of YOLO, which I think is the biggest standout there for the side of Mafia, with that 3.8. But a lot of that is skill damage, though. So 1.5 from YOLO is from artillery strikes, which means he put them well at the very least. But across the board, good split up damage from Mafia. Nobody really underperforming. They pick up this round as well. Good stuff.
Yeah, the reliable Prufus that you mentioned earlier, hitting 11 and 11 of 11, which is always nice to see. Yeah, very solid performance there and definitely helped out with it. Keeping it down. I like it. Good. Do you think this might rattle Cashback a little bit?
I mean, they're still up 2-1. I don't think they're in too much of a bad situation yet. And it does seem that unlike random battles, unlike 15v15, and almost unlike every mode, Sound River from the west on Onslaught is the better side, the more preferred side, because you can still challenge K-Line, you can still also challenge North. For some reason, that side, also got to keep in mind, of course, that there is one change on this, which is kind of an impactful change, is that F1 doesn't exist, right?
Yep. Now, be interested to see the lineup here, whether does Cashback go for the more keeping distance fight here, probably drop the Crown Wagon maybe.
I don't think we'll be seeing the Crown Wagon again.
Maybe they love it. Maybe it's the new meta just waiting to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think they lost because of the Crown, but
Yeah.
I feel like from West they probably have some more rotational setup altogether.
Yep. Definitely would have benefited more maybe a CS than the Cran. Because, yeah, as you saw, the Cran kind of got bullied by the 100 LT and the CS. Hopefully the lineup should come too. As you can see there, AMD sponsorship message, together we advance gaming. So let's see how this goes now with the lineup, with Mafia looking like very heavy setup with a couple of CSs overall. Be interested to see if that stays the same. Cashback going with a 113. Maybe that changes as well. The BZ75, the IS7, the Mivi, the Action X probably coming for the Inspire, E50M, great for the firing and the ramming, and an STRV. So would you expect to see this?
Biggest difference is no light tank from Cashback, and still pretty immobile setup all around because of the SRV, the 4 heavy tanks. Well, Mafia does have the light and at least a double CSs, and of course the IS7s as well. Have a little bit more possibilities to maneuver around the map.
Be interested to see whether set up the STRV, whether it hides in the base or, you know, as we can see, heading towards the south. Probably going to try and keep some control over the middle area or popping people as they get into the cap. Let's see how that goes. CS is taking a little bit of a detour. Mostly, yep, similar pattern that we saw to the last game. Apart from, of course, trying to get those strikes early.
I mean, the good thing for Mafia is they already picked up the radio tower, so they got full info about the split from Cashback, so they know where all the tanks are. Cashback in return is generating double strike. However, I don't see Twilight taking that one. He was on it, but yeah, it's just unlikely that he's able to take it all together. He's going to back off from it now. They did generate the one in the middle, but now the question is, how does Cashback continue here? The SRV will cover on towards Uzek's position, so he needs to be careful with the peaks he makes.
Yeah, so that was the STRV. Changed his mind towards the middle of that push. I think once they realized everybody was going north, it's going to stick there and try and hold through and cover the IS7. Keep an eye out for the 100 LT. Very cautious from both teams right now, waiting to see if one or the other creates a mistake. Cap pressure is on. It's going to be a while, though, before that starts becoming an error. Right now, it's just the sniping long-range game, teasing each other out.
The cap has been started for the side of Cashback, though, so there has to be a reset at some point. Brainbreaker is going to cap it out in 50 seconds. There is no strike available for Mafia. There's no mini strikes either when we look at Conrad and Kono. You can see that they don't have those yet. And Liberty will deny the strike to be taken on the south as well. So who will reset for the side of Mafia is a very, very good question.
Yeah, we can see Mafia 100 being true to his name of going YOLO to try and spot the cap. Maybe trying to get some height there to try and snipe across with the STRV covering him. But Cashback, I would say right now in a solid position. I7s are staying out the fight for now. Still no decap coming in, but there is a freeze at least.
Yeah, Marcel has moved on to the cap. Profuse getting spotted out. Brainbreaker just reversing, tapping him. Twilight in a little bit of trouble there, but he gets covered. E50M and AX now starting to take over the north. There's still a CS63 at A8. That will be a thorn in their side for a little while, but he needs to be very careful to not get repressured either. Barbarian and Brainbreaker, they realize that the cap is being blocked. It's actually just going to be Barbarian to push him out, and do keep attention to that. It pushes it down to 8 seconds. Kono puts his strike. Does he hit it, though? That's the big question. No, he actually missed it. Will mean that Marcel has to go back in because it's going to be all over in 3 seconds. There's a second mini strike, though, that will find the reset, and that was almost over. But the problems don't stop here for Mafia, as they're now down quite a lot of HP and slowly but surely are getting pressured back across the halfway point of this map. The 50M starting to take A-line as well, and it's looking rather grim for them because the cap has been resetted. Sure, CSs keep getting mini strikes, but Aka will pressure out Conrad, which will mean the north will be fully lost for Mafia.
Yeah, CS is Conrad, of course, trying to get himself a little bit of cover as the E50 starts to try and assert some dominance. Here we can see the Centurion Action X is probably going to get double teamed, distracted by the 100 LT. Oh, there's the cap. So there goes Little, bless him, with his STRV. Getting a kill on Marcel, important. Does help massively. What do we think is going to happen now?
I mean, they're trying to push Squeezy here, but Squeezy will be covered by the STRV soon as well. The BZ peeking over. Aka finds Conrad, and these two tanks that are coming for the kill here, Kono and Uzek, they have bled quite a lot for that. Don't forget, Twilight is also in the area still. Barbarian moving in. It's 4,000 HP versus 12,000. This is a GG if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, here we can see the 113. So we've got Barbarian and Liberty taking their sweet time there. yeah, it looks like Cashback have definitely got this in the bag. A little bit of dancing on with the 850 and the 100 LT. Movie, see if Kono can help him out a little bit, but he doesn't like it. The BZ pretty comfortable with his hit points here. And yeah, GG for Cashback. That's now a 3-1 to Cashback.
Good stuff from them. Good controlled game. Putting the pressure on slowly but surely. Generating everything they needed. Cap pressure, which then resulted into big bleed on Mafia, which then resulted into losing positions. It was a good, well-executed shot, slowly but surely.
Yeah, I thought that crucial and critical arty strike on the decap was going to help them, but you could definitely see the cap pressure at some point was starting to cause a little bit of stress. So here we can see now Cashback again, very nice spread of damage, if not a little bit concentrated on kills.
I mean, it's a good split again, you know, 4.5k to 2k across the board, pretty good. Profuse in that game, yeah, didn't really have too much of an impact. We actually cursed him, not blessed him, with the initial like highlight. You know, we were like,
yeah, content extension. He's trying to, you know, increase the stakes in there, bring some entertainment, make sure everybody gets invested.
But it's good that Cashback won this 3-1. Good stuff by them. They played it really well. This is not the first time they've pressured the cap like this on Sand River altogether. They kind of have the same approach to it time and time again, but it works for them. Now, Murovanka, if Cashback wants to force the issue here and not give a slow game to Mafia, they 100% can.
Yeah. And yeah, I would be interested to see if Mafia just rolls the dice here and just goes all in, or whether they are going to probably just, as you said, stick to their common play style, play it more safe, and don't take any high risks here.
Need to think about the side either team is playing. But yeah, on Murovanka, the thing is, I don't know if Mafia can handle the pressure that Cashback can put, the quick and aggressive plays. We've seen Mafia struggle with those quick aggressive teams quite a few times over. So if Cashback wants to, they can. However, it's more likely to be a slower game if Cashback is playing from the north than from the south, because no, the other way around. From the north, you can really pressure the cap very, very quickly.
Yep. Yeah. Is what I've normally noticed. A little bit of a tongue twister there. But yeah, I am curious to see if they go for the medium lineup, trying to go for the cap, the spots, or whether they will just, whether Cashback sticks with true and tested of apply cap pressure and let Mafia make the mistakes.
The lineups will tell us exactly what kind of game we're going to get.
So.
That is the most impactful part here, because Cashback could play slow as well. They have the light players. For them, it's a luxury. You know, they have enough light players that they can play slow, they can play fast, they can play anything in between, even though they're leaning into the more fast-paced games. They have Squeezy, they have Liberty. I'm trying to think who their third light player is, so...
I would not be able to help you there. This is all your expertise. So we are about to load into the battle and see those lineups. I really have no idea how this will go, especially with Mafia a little bit more cautious, I think, going into this fight. So we can see BZ, CS's, Action X, the 430U, Foch B, one more light with the Rumpanzer. Squeezy going at EBR. You mentioned being the light tank player, 2K91s. Okay, that'll be interesting to see how that works out with a bat chat and a mouse. Yeah,
Cashback is definitely not playing fast. Mafia in return might be, though. BZ75, CS63, AX, Double 30U, Foch B, RHM. That proves to be a quick game for them. But Cashback is playing La Rata. So they want to play kind of like W, generating mini strikes, because you have those kind of D1s and the Leo that are able to generate little strikes to reset the cap with.
I was introduced to this strategy of a new and brand spanking, never seen before strategy. As you mentioned, the Larata, which is essentially you just try and keep visibility and keep decapping over time, bleeding them with those strikes. Here we can see, looks like you were right. Mafia is going to try and press the issue, but not with too much conviction. Nope. Now they've decided they can take the risk. I think maybe they've realized, well, there's not too much to worry about there on the 1-2 line other than the K91. Mouse tank, though, maybe he's going to be able to bully the CS unless the Foch is waiting. Nice arty strike going on there to decap the arty cap. Managed to hit the Batchat and the Rumpanzer. I'm waiting to see how this mouse is going to play. I'm fascinated by the mouse. We can see here now that Mafia is pushing the K91 back from the cap. Yep, they've disengaged from the cap and are going to try and get a little bit more control of this hill. I'm not sure if they're going... Yeah, they're going for the Leo 1 and the K91 while Cashback pushes through onto the Foch B, taking him out before he gets time to heal and disengage.
Yeah, but this Foch B is in a lot of trouble. He hasn't done too many shots. Barbarian needs to be careful as well. He's getting clipped out from the back lines. One more shot on Profuse should do it. Little can he get it. He does find it. A lot of damage has been bled, and they will lose Brainbreaker for that reset, of course. We cannot forget about that. But Brainbreaker trying to min-max his damage there against the light tank. Love to see it. It's good because that's the one tank that Cashback would love to kill in this battle. Killing that RHM would be the best thing they could ever achieve. But yeah, Brainbreaker was forced close to reset in this battle, simply because they weren't able to generate a strike on the east. You can see now Kono in a little bit of trouble in that CS63. There will be angles crafted against him slowly but surely, and he should fall for that over time. Info Tower gets used, however, by Mafia, and I think they realize that they gotta keep pushing in this battle.
Yeah, I think once they realized where the mouse is and how much control there is of the north, they're going for the risk on taking the mouse down before it's too late. EBR, I think, is just going to try and harass the Action X, or maybe just keep playing a little bit of visibility to get the spot. Yeah, there's the mouse dropping down. CS is going to get... No. Oh, yes, they did get hit by the Arty Strike. Marcel playing it very safe and cautiously with the EBR hanging around. And Mafia are probably going to try and assert a little bit of dominance, get some positional play on the map, pick up the Arty Strike relatively free, and push Cashback into the magical forest.
It's not that great for Cashback, though, losing that mouse in the middle of the map before they generated the kill on Kono. Now they're stuck in a position of having to rotate down HP, down a gun as well. They do still have the double light, but it's not a comfortable position to be in whatsoever. They somehow need to use Liberty and Squeezy to the maximum of their potential, and they're also playing against double strike at this point.
Yeah, we can see Mafia trying to just close down more and more of that map, except giving it to the other side of the cap, where we can see the Rome and the Batchat coming around. Mafia slowly sweeping the forest for any rodents hiding in steep holes, looking for any chance to pick up maybe the EBR, the Leopard, or the K91, but they get away relatively for free. Maybe the BZs and the 430 a little bit cautious, hoping not to get bullied, pushing in blindly.
Can Barbarian find a reset against Marcel? He does actually find a reset with a mini strike as well, with a kill behind it. That's exactly what Cashback need. The light tank's important, but so is the Inspire tank. Mafia did not expect this brave play from that 700 HP Batchat to go down towards C1, pick him up altogether, and now the rat tactic is starting to pay its dividend. The Inspire tank is down. They would love to find YOLO, but all of a sudden it doesn't look that bad anymore.
Yeah, now Cashback making the right play, the right aggressive move at the right time. Mafia getting caught out now, though. Now they're in... I actually have no idea what they're planning to do. The Rumpanzer, I think, is going to struggle now to spot without getting bullied with these long-range mediums, and even the EBR trying to maybe catch out the CS63, unless Mafia turn around sometime soon.
To find a shot against YOLO, and I told you, YOLO is the tank that they would love to find. The plane available from Liberty hits on YOLO. YOLO down towards 800, and now you start getting these problems. These tanks from Cashback are highly rotational. They move around the map really, really easily and really nicely as well. If they can continue picking up this light, surely but surely, they'll get back in it. 5 minutes is what separates us from a draw, and when we get to a draw scenario, it's kills first, damage second.
And we can see 430U slowly, full hit points, which is good job for this point in time. BZ getting picked up in the middle, trying to get that capture for visibility. But yeah, the 430U sneaking around on the side, relatively free. Cashback getting the south side of the map, and Mafia still sticking to the forest, not wanting to risk anything. The BZ licking his wounds, going on there, trying to not be too aggressive, letting Cashback maybe get a little bit further away before he tries to go for the spot. Yeah, Squeezy getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to see what he can find in there.
I mean, at the same time, though, slowly but surely, they can generate more and more. But we are back into our kind of original positions between the bases as well. It's just on Squeezy and Liberty to find a little bit of success. And you have the issue for Mafia that, you know, Yuzek carries a lot of HP. And somehow you need to use that for 30U to get close.
Yeah, I am worried that he's going to get caught out trying to go in first. I mean, I know the BZ's nearby to help him out should he get into that situation. But as you mentioned, they're very agile tanks on cashback, so it's going to be easy for them to just circle around and maybe pick off the 430 if the BZ's a little bit too far away. But cashback looks like they're just waiting to receive a little bit of pressure right now. As we've seen in the last few games, letting Mafia make a couple more mistakes, while cashback just want to keep rotating around and looking for any sign of vulnerability before they start pouncing. I
mean, Conrad and Yuzek now pressuring the 1-2 line, even going on towards the gap. May spark Squeezy into some aggressive play, and this radio tower being taken by Liberty is huge because he's going to reveal so much here. He sees the 3 tanks in the forest, he sees the 2 tanks on 1-2 line, and there will be an attempt to take this radio tower on the left, but that's not going to be happening from Yuzek altogether. And then Cashback actually opting to push the double tank in the forest instead of running over 1-2 line.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because they don't even have the mini strikes to decap and they hope to just try and at least pressure the forest to then worry about the cap later, leaving the Leo 1 to decap if necessary. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens here with Squeezy and YOLO. I know they're definitely going to want to try and take down YOLO relatively quickly. Be interested to see if that happens.
Squeezy now going to try and run away. He sees Kono come for him. He misses on YOLO. Kono running it down on towards that EBR 105. Missing on that one. No plane available from YOLO either. So Squeezy is going to make it out. And now those tanks from Mafia, they have abandoned the cap. They're pushing back across the open. But the Leopard 1 of... Barbarian actually falling. The Leopard 1 of I was going to say, is having a good time right now. But Orchek sneaking behind, finding success. A strike coming out. I'm not sure where that one was. Another strike being taken in the middle of the map. Orchek knows that Squeezy is in these bushes.
Yep, yeah, Squeezy is going to be very fortunate if he gets away with this. Here we can see the Leo 1 trying to bully the BZ, not having to use the anti-strike in the end from the CS. Here now we can see Eyes and... Yep, never mind. Leo 1 is going to try and get away with cashback now. Maybe trying to take a step back. That aggressive push into the forest was a slight mistake, losing that light tank. The Worm is going to stay alive as long as he possibly can, but that 430U on those hit points is looking pretty intimidating at this point in time.
Yeah, Yuzek just hammering it down, little trying to take the strike, does get spotted out, and Yuzek I don't think will be catching Liberty here altogether. A mini strike comes out, and that's not that mini at all, it's 250 because it's a level 3 one. And a good shot there from Little on towards Yuzek, and now they're trying to do something with the Leopard taking the information tower. 60 seconds left though. They need to find the kill here on towards one of the tanks of Mafia on either. Well, the only thing they can really do is get a kill on YOLO.
Well, this is a little close range. The K91 finding this yes a little bit too late. Yep, and there's the Worm picking up the kill. Cashback in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, unless Liberty and ISET go absolutely crazy, there's very, very likely no way in for them. They need to find 2 kills, which is a tough ask, and I think they're losing on damage as well. So it will be Cashback. It will be Mafia confirming their second round, you could assume, at this point.
Yeah, you can definitely tell Mafia are just happy to sit back here, let Cashback push. They've got the advantage. Cashback are just going to try and push more and more, but maybe the Leo 1 picking up a strike. We can see some adventurous moves from YOLO. Liberty taking overview position. Let's see how this works out. They didn't get the arty strike, unfortunately. I missed that one, sorry. And yeah, this is definitely looking like, and was Mafia pulling through.
It's good for my prediction.
Yeah, perfect. So far we're on course. So yeah, not that I'd want to wish any team to lose, but Cashback, don't let us down.
Now we need, of course, Cashback to win the next one. That's the dangerous part, right?
Yeah. So I've got the score screen up right now. That's why I keep looking off to the side, making sure I do this job properly. And here we can see with Cashback's scores. Fortunately, we get a little bit of a scene switch going on here, but it's fine. We're here. We're ready. Good to go. Here we can see with nice bit of damage on the run, be sticking alive that long into the game.
Yeah, Liberty did pretty good across the board from Cashback. Not the greatest of issues altogether. Of course, the sad part was them losing Brainbreaker that early, but this repush into the forest, it somehow caught Barbarian off guard. And of course, there was an important moment there with the EBR 105 of Squeezy not killing YOLO. If he would have killed YOLO there, I would say that they, I think, still win that game out, just because of the amount of info Liberty can generate. But YOLO surviving on a one-shot was very important.
Yep, he didn't have... it doesn't look like he had a massive impact in the game, but it was pivotal, it was important, and it did allow them to take out Squeezy relatively easy. We've got Kono here on 5k damage, which is nice to see. The rest of the team, it's very stacked towards the upper end of it. Prufus, he jinxed him. I'm sorry, Prufus. I was surprised how long the Foshby survived in that position with that much against him, to be honest.
Yeah, they traded really well for that Foshby. Like, he was down 1,000, didn't even use his ability yet, and then they pushed him, and then he actually traded really, really well against Barbarian, who went down to 700. And then Cashback almost came back, but wasn't able to do it. Maybe they should let the ratting to W, you know, the experts.
I've heard that is the case, a pioneered strategy. Phil was a huge fan when he was talking about it to me throughout. He loves it, says it's amazing. He wants to see more of it for the rest of the season. How do you feel about it, Daki?
It's very frustrating to play against. I would assume. I have no clue how it feels to play against, but it just looks frustrating.
Well, you did do it one time to me in one of the Onslaught matches.
Did
It wasn't very fun, so I can confirm.
What did I do?
You bullied me. That's what you did. The whole game, it was just bullying.
Well, you're lucky you don't meet me this part of the season, because now I'm just playing the V, you know?
Oof. Yeah, no, thank you. I'm good. So yeah, now Cashback are going to probably try and just swing this to make sure we don't fail our predictions. I'm sure it has nothing to do with winning the entire matchup. Mafia will feel a little bit emboldened with the win on there, the little bit of control, the resilience that they showed, and yeah, making sure that they kept the right move at the right time. Cashback, curious to see their lineup. I'm wondering if they're just going to then stick true and try the tactics that they have.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they go for the rat again, but I'd be surprised. It doesn't look that way, though. Cashback, double E50, K91 still, Forge B, double 268, and an RHM Panzerwagen.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a statement waiting to be made. And here we can see Mafia with the two IS-7s, two CS-63s, K91, a Foch B, and another light with a Ram Panzer on YOLO. So evenly on the lights, the Foch B's sitting around as well, but definitely a stacked set of arty-strikes on there. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see which way they go on this one. Cashback looking like they want to just press the issue here.
I mean, the double 268 is an interesting one because, you know, this map is a lot of objects, so you have to kind of force it around 1-2 line. If you fight the middle with the 268, it's not that great. Don't see YOLO hitting too many with the plane, though. Profuse will go on that one. He should be getting reset altogether. They're aiming. Can they hit him, though? Is there going to be any damage on Profuse? No.
No, everything looks relatively safe overall. The planes, YOLO having a full stack of plane where Liberty has none, which is... Oh, no, there we go. Take it back. So the spotting is going to be available there. The arties are not charged just yet, other than the one on Profuse. And yeah, I'm waiting to see. Cashback seem to not do what I expected. I thought they might jump around, but it looks like they're now going to try and pressure the IS-7, where Mafia are going to go through the forest and maybe catch out the K91, with the Foch B just waiting to receive them.
Rainbreaker getting pushed by Marcel, by Yuzek. There will be a follow-up by the rest of the team, sniping towards Yuzek in that CS63. Rainbreaker playing a ring around the Rosie, absolutely juking Marcel out. Twilight helping as well, but now it's 2-on-1 here, but still Yuzek is dead to Brainbreaker. This push, this play, I think they expected Cashback to still go for the cap, but Cashback said no, we're gonna turn around and just cover, and this K91's position, it works wonderfully for a Cashback. I mean, Brainbreaker absolutely tomfooleried the CS63 and the IS-7.
Yeah, the K91 playing his role perfectly of being the cheese in the mousetrap, the Foch B receiving on one side, the 2268s receiving on the other, and happily taking out the IS-7. Brainbreaker, though, now on much lower hit points from the beginning part of that, getting some help from the E50M and the Panzer, but staying alive just long enough. And now Mafia are looking at this and expecting, yeah, we can take this Foch B, it's fine. Cashback may be also ready to counter-push them once they go on their reload with the Kono on the Foch B. Let's see.
I mean, now Cashback starting to take all the tanks. The 268's even pushing from the 5 lane. You can see them. Twilight still alive. His second life coming in. The strike will put him down. That's Profuse, but it's 3,000 lead for Cashback. The gun still up one little. Now moving in. There's still a pretty healthy HP IS-7 in the middle as well, which is Conrad, who's a bit far away here as the rest of the team moving in. Aka does throw himself to the wolves and will die for it as well. I think he underestimated the amount of damage that the Mafia lineup could still do in this short amount of time, but now they're continuing on with those 268s with the DPM boost as well. They tapped the light even before 1,000 earlier, and Squeezy will find the kill, I think, or Little, one of the two, doesn't matter, both have ability. That's perfect, and you can see that 1-2 tap, 1 and 2 to CS, reloads instantly, the next goes into the light, and so go the dreams of Mafia to continue, but the predictions are amazing. 4-2 for Cashback.
Happy I haven't lost my prediction touch. Totally didn't copy you though, Daki, so well played by Cashback there. Very dominant display, very decisive in their actions throughout that. There was no doubt they... it was almost as if they were clairvoyant in expecting Mafia's actions and playstyle there. Received everything perfectly, pushed at the right time. Even the 268, ignoring the IS-7, which probably would have been in temptation, going straight to the forest and going, thank you very much, we'll take all your hit points. Yeah,
that was, I mean, the biggest game changer there was, of course, the K91 trade, right? When they tried to push the K91, and the K91 actually traded it out beautifully with a Brainbreaker taking top damage as well. Of course, he got support from behind, or he wouldn't have been able to do that, but still. It was pretty good for the side of Cashback that Mafia decided to do that.
Yeah, and there's poor Akam, as you mentioned, a little bit bold, too bold, getting caught out with a surprising amount of damage it looked like. But yeah, the poor Juzek getting bullied, as you said at the start, thinking that the K91 was all alone, and very much was not. He had a whole team, got his back, got him covered, and made sure he paid for any sense of arrogance pushing. Well played by Cashback. I like it. Good job.
Yusek didn't have a lot of fun there altogether in that CS63. No. Poor guy.
I imagine some strong words were exclaimed during that of what the hell is going on? How did that happen?
I mean, Yusek is very passionate, so you know, I'm certain he had an interaction with something or someone, whether it be the monitor, the wall, or one of his teammates. Who knows at this point? But for Cashback, good rehearsal, winning their last match of the regular season against Mafia. Some confidence as well going in towards those playoffs. They won't be able to catch Hit and Run anyways, which is locked number first. But they, however, will pad the points a little bit, their win ratio. And, you know, like I said, it's a confidence booster going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely take that. Comfortable, confident. No real major scares there, I don't think. A little wobbly moment with that game, but I don't think there's anything major. So I know we've got the replays ready, and I'm assuming you want to throw us those. It was a pleasure, Daki. It's been a long time casting with you, so thank you very much for propping up my lack of casting experience in the last few years. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to AMD sponsoring for the OLS, and I hope to catch you soon.
Smith speaking. We captured Ramfalte successfully, but it seems that we stirred up a hornet's nest. We're being chased by several dozen Echo tanks.
Isn't science fascinating?
Moving to the extraction point. Babylon, do you copy? We're approaching. Open the portal. Now there's too many of them. Where's the portal? Babylon, do you copy?
Sign up to volunteer for Last Stand.
Seems that extraction is delayed. Okay, we'll wait. Keep on working, guys.
With scientific tools like these, no one will stand in the way of your research. No one.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the second match of the day of the AMD OLS Season 3. Ducky, we are going to watch Yogurt and Darkside, and while both of those teams are already confirmed to be out there, not going to be participating in the playoffs, this match still holds a lot of importance.
This one is the most important one of the day. No?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, theoretically, now that Mafia, I guess, is confirmed 4th, you don't want to be 4th normally in the playoffs because you start in the lower bracket. Yeah, I guess this one is the most important one because not only does the 5th place, which either of those teams can still get by winning, even in tiebreaker, I believe, not only does it hold money, but also a secured spot for OLS season number 4. You saw the Yogurt lineup. We are about to see the Darkside lineup, which I guess should be slightly favored.
Sure. Should be favored, but I think between these two, Kihan, I think either team could really win. I don't want to put my money anywhere, you know. Only my prediction, but not my money. Can Darkside hold to the position that they're used to holding, Key? They're very consistent, eh? Consistently mediocre in a way, but, you know, consistent nonetheless.
Yeah, that is going to be the big question. The community predictions also going with a Darkside, a nice 69% compared to the Yogurt's 31. Nice. So I guess 7 in 10 people are going with Darkside here. I think that's kind of fair, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is pretty fair altogether. Nonetheless, that it's this much for Darkside. They have been the better team. They're the team with more experience as well. But never say never, Key.
Never say never, and I just looked it up. If we have to go off the score of Phase 1, this is going to be a rather close one, because in Phase 1 it did end up going to tiebreaker. As we have the map pick and bans coming in. Westfield is going to be banned out by Yogurt, Darkside responding with Studzianki. We're not going to see those two, so instead we are starting off on Pilsen into Himmelsdorf, so two maps that play very, very differently. Let's see later what we can take away from that, judging by the playstyles of the teams. Enscombe Cliff being removed. Sand River is our map number 3. Ghost Town removed once again, and then Murvanka as the possible tiebreaker. But yeah, can we discern anything from this as towards what playstyles the teams prefer? I guess Himmelsdorf and Ensk by a Darkside, they kind of want the city brawls, but Pilsen is not far off in my opinion.
I mean, Pilsen can be played still pretty slow though, which I think is good for Yogurt, because we saw them get rolled by Cashback and Hit and Run when the pressure got turned up. They weren't able to match it. On Pilsen, they can kind of avoid it.
Yeah, kind of, right? But not completely then again, which is obviously the question. Is Darkside maybe even going to force some sort of cap pressure there? So they will be able to force Yogurt into a straight-up fight, which, in my opinion, judging by what we've seen, Darkside should be able to win. But then again, there is a reason why both of those teams are only a single point apart currently. Darkside with a slight advantage on 10, Yogurt having only 9. So it doesn't matter if one of those teams is going to win in tiebreaker or not. That's going to put them in front of the other one. As we have the predictions coming in, Ikibu, the odd one out, he's saying tiebreaker. I can kind of see that happening, but Yogurt, we'll have to wait and see. All the others going with the 4-2 safety bet.
Fair, I think, as well. I mean, Yogurt, they could win this key, but let's count on the experience of Darkside to pull through.
Yeah, then again, if Yogurt wins, then we all look kind of stupid. So hopefully, at least for us, Darkside is going to win. However, we are not going to have any say in how this match is going to pan out. That is between the players.
We don't need to make a back prediction to look stupid. All right.
You mean we can do that entirely
we
without?
have that natural look.
All right, in we go into what you said, and I agree, is probably going to be the most important match of the day. Yogurt is going to start off on Pilsen with an i7, a mouse, a Foshby, a 268, double E4, and an RHM.
Darkside in return, though, double mouse, double 4 to the U, double Foshby, and an RHM. I think they want to put the pressure on.
Yeah, that Darkside lineup looks very brawly. They definitely want to force some kind of a shootout. Then again, I don't think Yogurt minds too much. They have that double E4 plus mouse and i7 that can receive the Fosh B for the burst potential, and the 268 kind of in a similar spot as the 430Us, weirdly enough, where in a prolonged shootout, the 268 will generate a lot of DPM. The door is being destroyed by G. That's something we see commonly in the middle of the map with the destroyed factory, just so you can see if someone is crossing towards the artillery strike. Quick and Trash Panda, both sides playing with a light, trying to see something. Quick there with a bit of airtime.
Sadly, you don't get anything for that, though. But you can see Darkside coming. Quick does get the reset on Dries, so is able to stop that mid-strike from being taken. You can see Liquor now coming to take the Eastern strike on the 8-9 line altogether, or it's going to be Quick. Makes sense. You know, light tank taking strike means he gets another plane. Having more planes is always better.
Exactly. Dries there taking now the second shot of damage. Good peek coming out by Arachmedic in that mouse, as Dries all of a sudden finds himself a little bit pressed in towards a corner in the middle of the factory. Good plane, good prediction. A bit unlucky to miss the Fosh there, but he is going to spot out Hellmind in that 430U. That's a little bit more information for the side of Darkside to work with, as now Scout is going to trigger the cap. He wants to force a reaction from Darkside. Anabans not getting spotted for the cross.
Yeah, Anabans is even going to take A1. I think Yogurt has a pretty good idea here what's happening. He's going to be denying any pressure down that part of the map. The E4 crossing over as well. Does so without taking damage, which will mean that Scout now realizing probably that the E4 could peek him whenever he wants to.
Now, Liquor with the IS-7 does spot out Hellmind. Those are two very good hold-down tanks, but it seems like Hellmind was able to get a glimpse of the Leo plate, the shot connecting in towards the IS-7, but still, that one is very healthy. Tries again with a shot here, and you gotta wonder if those bushes in the middle there provide a bit of camo, as the IS-7 was temporarily unspotted, but a return comes through by Liquor. Still the cap, I mean, it's starting to mount, it's starting to become an issue. Then again, we should remember Quick still has the artillery strike available for when things really get close.
Scout being pulled back from the point of capture. We can see slowly but surely Yogurt in this first battle actually edging ahead in the damage stealth department. This slower game favors them a little bit more by the looks of things.
Exactly. Entrenched warfare going on in the southeast of the map as well. We can see Hellmind and Liquor in the IS-7 really eyeing each other, but both of those have such strong turrets that they should be able normally to have a Mexican standoff with no one really being able to pull out their gun or penetrate their shots, rather. But yeah, Darkside, they need to respond, but they have 2,000 less HP, taking another shot of damage in towards Hellmind as well. I think that one maybe came from the E4 in the D6 position. That was a chunky bit of damage. He's going to go behind the house where he has Vladislav in the Fosh as well, forming a little bit of a trap. But you gotta have to wonder if Yogurt really decide to push there, if those two are enough to hold.
Strike being taken again in the east, better 268 this time. It's Mindbreaker, Vladislav pulling back. They've established Hellmine behind the building, but where is the move forward here for Darkseid? What can they really do?
That is a very good question. I mean, Trash Panda taking an artillery strike of his own, but that's just going to mirror the fact that Yogurt have taken the second one on the field as well. So both teams kind of waiting here, and that waiting game is definitely favoring Yogurt because they have more HP, they have cap pressure once again with Scout in that cap, and now Liquor taking a little bit more map control is going to find out that the 430U most likely is in one of those bushes outspotting him. That is another bit of information that he's going to relay. I mean, he does get unspotted, spotted again, so he knows that there must be something up. As the double mouse from Darkseid all of a sudden looks like they want to push over the cap. Anaban spotted in A1, possibly from a plane, takes a bit of damage. A strike going down as well. A secondary is going to confirm. He is going to be probably on less than 1,000. Gets spotted once again. Probably another plane. The Mouses try to get the kill. It's going to be Vladislav in the Fosh. Darkseid turning it around.
Yeah, they find this huge plane at A1. I don't know if Anabant did shoot before or whatever, but if he didn't, it's a great prediction from Darkseid.
Absolutely, and just like that, it was looking alright for the side of Yogurt. Now, however, they're pressured in towards this push. This one might favor them, however, as Liquor is gonna drive in with that I7, does bounce on it, and the 430U is no joke with the funny button ability activated. The Fury skill coming in clutch, shot after shot in towards the I7. Finally, a penetration does come through, an artillery strike as well as Liquor drops to a one-shot, though. Is Hellmine able to stay alive here is the question. Both of them face-hugging, and indeed Kano with the Fosh B to shut it down. Yogurt is in trouble.
Yeah, they're also going to need to use the strike to decap, so they can't even kill the 430U. The one-shot Hellmine off dry is just sitting in the middle of the map where he's been this whole time. He's going to start popping away at this mouse driving through. He's going to get flanked by a 268 though, who does find the shot, and then the Ramadik to find the finish. So it's not over yet for Yogurt, but it has not been pretty.
It's not been pretty. Mindbreaker failing to trade as well with Shockerix in that mouse. So, yeah, Hellmine still being alive, that is a problem for Quick. You can see he just took a shot of damage here as well. Finally able to shut down the 430U. So, tank parity has been established, but HP-wise, this was a good trade for Darkseid. Another strike connecting, no damage reduction available for LaVey. That seems to be fighting off against Kano in that Fosh B that's starting to clip out, but the E4, oh, he gets the track shot off. That is going to be a lot more damage in towards that E4. Kano completely clipping out, taking another shot by Depressed, however.
It doesn't really get better for Darkseid here now, for Yogurt here, now down 3,000 after this initial that was so good for them. They just spiral out of control, losing one, losing the second, and now potentially losing the rest of the game as well. Scout needs to go back, still cover is there for Ramadik, but now the Fosh B is coming off of reload. That is the nail and the coffin that's about to happen. As you see, Vladislav pops the ability on towards the press. That's two Fosh Bs. You can have this decrease you want. You are probably not going to do that well, but LaVey finds the shot though together with the strike. It's not as clean as you would have hoped.
No, it's not as clean, but Shockerix should get the pickup. Never mind Kano with yet another kill, but all of a sudden it's going to be 4-4 with Darkseid having the HP advantage. His Scout pens his shot here. Indeed he does. That is going to be the gun advantage once again, but there is a very low HP mouse, and indeed Mindbreaker to pick it up with that 268. That means also reload reduction coming in. Another big hit into Shockerix, who's starting to push LaVey in that very low HP E4. That one misses his shot, however, but the wild card still remains with Trash Panda, has flanked completely around, starting to sidestep in towards Mindbreaker. So it is once again Yogurt forced to make a push, while Kano has reloaded in the Fosh B once again, takes a bit of damage, takes a heap of damage, goes down. Mindbreaker once again, reload ability active.
Yeah, they're making a fluff of this from Darkseid's side. They're really fluffing it out, and now Shockerix chasing around this while getting fired by Kvik the whole time. He has a 268 on the other angle as well, and this is cinema, absolute cinema, as somehow Darkseid now all of a sudden are in a losing position.
Yeah, Trash Panda now in the 1v3, and it's not completely unwinnable. Then again, they're now starting to take the strike. Does he have a plane available? He just used it to respot the 268, but I don't think that is really going to help. LeVay and Quick already doing the correct thing, splitting up in the cap, the 268 joining it as well. This means 10 seconds here, and no one is actually on one strike territory from all those tanks. LeVay 402, that is 2 more than needed.
Can they do more? The strike doesn't do too much at all. And now he needs to reset though, with Mindbreaker screening the front, but why Mindbreaker is that far forward, Kihan, is a good question. Oof, that's why.
Oh, HE. That is very tasty in that 268. And now, obviously, Trash Panda needs to commit in here. 3 seconds on the cap. Is he going to be on time even? That is the question. Mindbreaker, yet another HE. And the reset comes through, but only momentarily, because now they know where he is. 1 second remaining. And Yogurt, they had a good starting position, and they somehow managed to turn it around, even after that absolutely 300 IQ plane on towards Anabans that ended up making them play 6 versus 7, but still, just the trades in the end. Once again, also, the 268 reload ability coming in clutch, although once we go towards the battle results, keep in mind 2,000 of that damage was essentially free on towards the LT at the end.
These Fush Beasts ended up making a little bit of a misplays across the map. First one next to Kano, and then Kano himself as well, peeking in the gap, clipping the 268, but getting shot by the E4. They really completely threw that endgame scenario back towards Yogurt for no reason whatsoever.
And normally, right, if we think about the season, both teams here had problems converting at the end of the day. Like when they got themselves into advantageous positions, then they somehow fell apart after. And we have 2 people completely popping off. LeVay, almost 8,000 damage and 3 kills to his name. Absolute MVP for this round. Mindbreaker, if we, you know, subtract the easy free damage of 2,000 at the end, still 5k. That's a lot. And then it kind of gets a little bit yeah, not so bright. Let's put it like this, but still, together, concerted team effort, they're able to do it. Anamon's still able to do 3 shots of damage without Fosh, but yeah, we have to give it to Trash Panda. That was a crazy good plane. It's just sad for him that it wasn't able to, you know, bring his team over the finish line.
It's I don't know I don't know how disappointed Darkside is. The fact that they almost won it when they shouldn't, or the fact that they threw it when they won it.
Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster, I guess, for both teams. But you would have to give the mental edge to Yogurt after this first game here, because, well, they were ahead. A plane like this can always happen, right? And it's not always your fault. Maybe it also was just well played by Darkside, that like the mouses peaked, they were getting spotted, and they were like, well, wait, where are we getting spotted from? It probably must be someone NA1. Wait, we have a light tank with a plane. Let's, you know, take a shot at this. We're behind. Maybe this will be our comeback. So, yeah, it can always happen. And so Yogurt must be very happy that after that they were able to turn it around in quite spectacular fashion. And really, I can't wrap my head around the fact that LeVay did 8k and 3 kills. Like, where did he rack up all this damage?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Hell, he was shooting those Fush Beasts that were giving themselves up a little bit for Freaky Hand. Does that count?
Yeah, I guess. Possibly. And then the Fosh Beast probably even did him the favor of healing up a bit so he can farm even more. That might be the case. But yeah, a furious round number 1, and we're not about to stop, as round number 2 is just about to be underway. Yogurt switching up quite a bit though. Rachmedik in the mouse. Triple T57, a 430U, Fosh B, and an EBR.
Darkside in return, triple bad shot, an E4, an RHM, a mouse, and an E100. Triple bad key hand.
It's something that we have seen in previous seasons, but since the rebalance of the roll skill, the bad shot kind of fell off a little bit, at least when it comes to it being used in extremely high numbers. We've seen 3 bad shots, 4 bad shots. I think we even had a cliff game with 7 of those, and I think they even won. But yeah, it has fallen off a little bit with those bats, and obviously the bats are a crucial factor for Darkside. If they can get those bats into the fight without them getting focused, and then they get like the first clip off, immediate reload, second clip off, that can work out beautifully. But the Batchat as a tank still is pretty fragile. Ooh, bounce by, or crit by Lovey on towards Trash Panda in the RHM, has to back away, and full information even for the team of Darkside. So they know what they're playing against. This triple T57, it might work out well against the Batchats, actually.
If they ever get to engage Kiham, because it's going to be Strike City. In the beginning, they're splitting up, but Mindbreaker not fully safe there, I think, against holes again in the walls. So there will be a strike taken for Yogurt as well. Here comes the strike. Does that hit 2? Yes, it will. Good placement there. Bit risky, but it does find 2 players. So there's a reset, but now another reset needs to come.
Now another reset needs to come, but they don't have a strike available, so Scout starts driving in towards the cap, and this is, of course, what the T-57s have been waiting for. Now the question is, are the Batchats ready for the T-57s? Because those certainly are for the mouse. They're starting to clip out Scout, trying to bounce what he can, and the damage on towards the T-57, not gonna lie, it is kinda lacking.
I mean, Nanabounce is dropping towards 645, now more damage coming out from the side of Darkside. The Batchats now getting involved in this game as well. Ramadek now facing off against Shockrex, the next German heavy, pushed down the middle of the map to try and get in there. Cap is almost going to go out, 2 seconds left. Is there anybody to get it? Is it going to go through? Yes, the reset from the bad shot of Dry is actually peeking on top. That was the last second decap altogether. They do find it, but that was awfully close, and Dries, I think, will pay the ultimate price for getting that reset as well. And it is playable for Yogurt. Getting those 57s make the difference.
Can they is the question, but Depressed on the reload ability is going to finish with that Batchat rather soon, as it is a brawl just about everywhere over the map. The T-57's now done with the opponents that are close, and Shokorix left out to dry in the cap. What is he going to do with his EU100? Start chasing down T-57s? I don't think so. Liquor now even contemplating attacking the E100. He does have a little bit of cover by the E4, however, and now things are starting to calm down a bit. Both teams resetting mentally, probably even for what's to come. 5 versus 5 in the gun department. Slight HP advantage for Yogurt. Just as I say that, however, Liquor takes a shot of damage. Now activates the healing ability. Doesn't know if he's still spotted. And Shokorix remaining in the cap. Lovey. That is a dangerous game that the EBR is playing.
Very, very dangerous, as Vladislav will spot him out here as well. Lovey will be forced to turn around. The 430U coming across. Does take a shot though. Very, very important shot onto the EBR. Good stuff there from Vladislav. He has Cannon support. He has Trash Panda coming as well. I don't think this is the angle that Yogurt wants.
I don't think so either, but talking about angles, they will need to generate one soon. On towards the E100 in the cap, the 430U does spot out the Batchat, and now the T-57's once again starting to drive in at the cap. Shokorix with that E100 starting to bounce. 1, make that 2, only 2 more possible in the clip. Only 1 out of 4 actually by Quick. The shooting absolutely not on point on towards the E100, as Liquor with that Fosh B now trying to do better than his teammate, but he has Hellmind in that E4 behind him, starting to activate the heal ability, but how much good is that going to do? The E100 might have 1 more shot remaining for him, as Hellmind tries to get the pickup on towards the Fosh B. The E100 falls. The focus fire by either side is not completely on point, but both teams now left with 3.
But when we look at the HP department, it is Darkside coming out ahead altogether now. Vic now sees Trash Panda and he misses twice. Trash Panda is sneaking by. Gets lucky as well. That the T-57 misses both, and I think this is the end for Yogurt in this one.
Exactly, I think Quick with the second shot of that T-57, this time hitting some sort of obstacle in the way. The heat is not designed to go through those. And yeah, Trash Panda is now just going to delay for Lovey, who is taking an artillery strike of his own. And yeah, Depressed is the only one that still has HP remaining on the lineup of Yogurt. The EBR, he cannot really make plays anymore. 498 does even get spotted. That is probably the plane from Trash Panda at this point in time, just trying to secure a little bit more info. And Vladislav and Kano between them are going to be the playmakers. Vladislav still 2000 HP and depressed. He might be catching Trash Panda, but once again, the RHM able to duck and weave, able to evade a lot of shots. Vladislav waiting with 2 of his own for that 430U of Depressed to make a misplay, and Kano is gonna kill quick.
Yeah, Kano peeked out, made a the T-57 peeked out, made a shot. Kano saw it, immediately struck him back. Depressed now running away as well. I think Darkside is coming to actually close out the game altogether. By the looks of things, they see Love as well. They gotta be careful. Love down towards a one shot. Kano picks it up, and the press is going to be falling as well. And Darkside will forget about that round that they played before rather quickly by picking up the second round on Pilsen.
Exactly, and I think when it comes down to it, we really have to attribute the loss for Yogurt here on towards the shooting and also decision making when it came to focus fire around the cap. That was not ideal by either team, but it was worse in my opinion by Yogurt. So I guess the emergency bells or whistles, whatever you want to call them, for Darkside for now have stopped ringing too loudly.
What map is next, Key?
Himmelsdorf, if memory serves correctly. And after that, it should be Ensk into Muro tiebreaker, I believe. Always helps when, you know, it's the first match of the day casting. Then you actually remember, not when it's like 5 matches deep and you're like, nah, I don't know anymore. But yeah, Hellmind this time, 6.5k. That is a pretty good score. Perfect shooting as well on his part. Then again, he had kind of like the backs of Fosh Bees and whatever not to shoot at. So he was pretty happy. And the triple Batchat, it's kind of a little pocket strat coming out from Darkside, and it ends up working.
I mean, Anabans with 67 damage and 1 kill, so 68, so missing 1 key hand, but you could be the one he needs.
Yeah. I think the shooting by both Quick and Anabans, I mean 5-4-1 for Anabans and 17-15-10. And really, the problem there was the clip on towards the E100 from Quick. But that is a messy Pilsen behind us, being split 1-1. Yogurt clawing back in towards round 1, and Darkside able to finish it off in round number 2. This is going to bring us towards Himmelsdorf, so I did remember correctly. And we are going to get our... Well, actually, Ensk was wrong, remembered by me. Sandriva is going to be the third map. But yeah, first of all, Himmelsdorf. Another map where close fights between tanks are an eventuality, I guess.
I guess this is a map where Darkside could force the issue, though, and try and overrun Yogurt. Yogurt did pretty well on the longer game, but can they handle a quick game key hand?
That is the question they need to answer, and I guess this is also why, yeah, probably why Darkside picked it, right?
I mean, depends. Maybe they want to go 7 tanks hill. It's also possible.
Actually, phase 1 score on Liquipedia, it said 3-2 between the two of those. I guess, no, maybe I looked in the wrong...
it's okay,
in the wrong column.
Take your medicine.
Yeah. So there, Darkside actually winning cleanly, getting 3 points out of that one, which is 30% of the total amount of points they've been able to accumulate so far, because at least I am very sure that, well, they are on 10 currently.
Are you sure?
I am positive.
100%?
I am absolutely positive, not the player though.
Okay, well, if you say so. Darkside lineup though: W100, 121B, double 430U, double E4.
And for Yogurt, we have triple E100, an Inspire Medium 121B, a double 430U, and a Foch. Both teams kind of looking for the immediate brawl / shootout. Yogurt with a slight deviation that they actually do have an auto-loading tank, whereas Darkside are just going full-on cyclical, full-on single shooters.
Triple E100 though versus double E100. I kind of like Darkside lineup more because of those big alpha tank destroyers in it as well.
Alright, what do the openings tell us? Liquor is going to drive towards the 8 line in that Foch B, E100 being sent towards the middle of the map by Yogurt, and the other tanks are kind of fanning out on the 1 to 4 line, sort of like this. The 1-1B going in towards the window is going to get some nice and easy first spots. Good shot in towards the E100 as well, whereas Mindbreaker gets one on the cross on towards Kano in the 1-1B. Trash Panda taking one in the cap. It's going to remove a few seconds of cap pressure, not that it matters a terrible lot, but as it stands, both teams bleeding for driving in towards those initial position.
Yeah, Kano would love to get a shot. Because Kano, if he gets a shot, it means Inspire. He doesn't have it right now. The E4 is starting to push up, the E100s are just holding, the cap pressure has been started. But a single cap pressure key hand against the strike doesn't really do much. The E4s are crossing over though. And Dries takes a lot of damage for that. How do they dig out that 4 to the U that is sitting in J1?
That will be the question as Trash Panda takes another shot to the face in that cap. It's once again going to reset it completely. Kano, with that 1-1B, is still looking for shots. Still wants to give his team the Inspire. Not successful at the moment, at least. Whereas you can see on the left for Yogurt, everyone is inspired right now. Lovey making his position in the windows kind of work.
Yeah, Hellmine starting to pressure this 430U, shooting on the move, taking some damage. Ramedek will give a shot here as well, and Liquor will arrive in that Foch B. So I don't know about this move, Kihan. The C4 kind of seems to be going down no man's land. The strike will only hit one. But Darkside bleeding in this battle and are about to lose this E4 who tried to do something, a play, but it was not one.
Well, it was more likely a march to the garage as Darkside are going to be playing a man down for the remainder of the match. Trash Panda pushing on towards Mindbreaker, but as he has no commander in his tank right now, this gives the DPM advantage to Mindbreaker, who was still able to heal his loader. Even a bounce coming out from Trash Panda as 2 quick kills in succession are going to confirm that Yogurt will play against only 3 players with 7 of their own. Yogurt once again might be putting themselves up a point.
Yeah, this was a dumpstering of Darkside. I mean, they tried to open aggressively on 1-2 line, but they just ran into well-established positions, you know, for the U and J1, and they're like, we can't push down this, we can't cap, what can we do? Not much at all.
Exactly, good initial positioning coming out from the players of Yogurt that are now going to reap the rewards and are going to kill Shockerix, making this a very clean affair. 7 tanks still left standing and 13,000 HP at the end of it. Yogurt, that was extremely convincing, and we said before the battle even started, right, we are kind of not sure how well Yogurt will be able to take the close engagements. That was an exclamation mark after the answer to the question.
There was no fight though. You know, it wasn't really a fight, it was more of a Darkside running into a wall, trying to break through the wall, but the wall was too strong.
Exactly. We saw single tanks by Darkside trying to make something happen, but it was not to be. Scout there with only a single shot of damage in his E100. The only one really able to pull his weight was Vladislav in that 430U. But if we take a look at the other side, it looks a whole lot better. And also, once again, talking about the Inspire medium, the 3.6k damage that Lovey did probably enabled him to inspire the entire team for, well, a lot of time in the entire battle. And that is one of those, like, individual plays that really makes the difference is between 2 teams. If both have an Inspire medium, if one of them is continually able to shoot and do damage while remaining alive, of course, and the other one is not, that gives a huge advantage.
And the one Inspire was always on the side of Yogurt, to be honest there. Kano, I think, generated 1 with the strike, but Lovey had the initial shot with the 1-1B, which gave him the Inspire, which then led to more damage, more Inspires. They had really good opening, really good positioning.
Yeah, I just checked. Kano actually had 3 Inspires used, but then again, probably 1 or 2 of those even were happening when the battle realistically was already decided, right? That's also a point to consider here. Whereas when the battle was not yet decided yet, it was indeed the team of Yogurt that was continuously Yeah, just getting those passive improvements. Now, however, the sides are going to be flipped, and we will be once again on Himmelsdorf. The question being if Darkside will be able to kind of come back into this once again, if they're going to be able to even out the scoreline, or if Yogurt will start running away with it and put themselves on match point.
Would be crazy if Yogurt puts himself on match point, though.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Then again, at least point-wise, there wasn't so much separating both teams before today. Like 1 point, that's nothing.
Imagine Yogurt actually wins this. Going against all our predictions, against everybody's beliefs, and, you know, actually winning.
It would be an interesting story, and it would probably upset a lot of people as well that will have to play against Darkside in that case in the future, in possibly relegations, OCS, etc. First of all, though, we are not quite there yet. Yogurt trying to get on towards that match point still. Rachmedic with the mouse, a bad shot, double 430, double Foshb, and an E4.
Darkside in return, W4, a CS63, a 1-1B, an I7, W100. That CS Kiahan kind of says that they want to go to the hill.
Exactly. The CS also on Himmelsdorf adding a bit of versatility with the baby strike that it has, because the cap actually on Himmelsdorf is kind of small. So you have a lot of reset options with the CS. Then again, of course, I mean, you first of all have to generate the strikes to be able to use them, which has become a little bit easier with the mid-season rebalance. But first of all, Hellmind does do an initial spot run. I think he saw the mouse there, and now, as we said, he is going to drive towards the hill. But if we check the minimap, there is another tank driving there for Yogurt as well, and the Batshot wins the 1v1 against the CS normally.
The CS smartly backing away from it because of that. Scout takes the ID strike. But the good thing for Yogurt is that they will have the hill at some point. When they realize they can take it, they will have it. And that will put them in a pretty strong position. They're even taking 1-2 line with Kvik as well, pushing up. And I gotta say, Key, if I'm looking at purely positions, I would favor Yogurt just by the way things are looking right now.
Yeah, the only thing that could work against them is if they're able to create an engagement on the lower side and the Batchat is kind of out of game. Together with the Foshb, that's also in B7. Not sure what Anabans is doing there right now. Maybe making a trap for the 8 line. Finally, he starts driving. Is he going to divert in towards 8 line, or is he going to come up the hill? It seems like the latter is the case. So Yogurt are now going to play with 5 only on lower against the 7 in total. But those are going to become 5 as well, because the CS and yet another tank, I think that's the 1-1B, are being sent to the hill. They probably expect only 1 by Yogurt here, but they're going to run in towards double autoloader.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Darkside, to be honest. Hand 1-1B and CS63 versus Batchat and Foshb. The Ryzen now starting to take some damage as well. That is that Batchat on the hill. We gotta keep attention to how many shells he has available for when this repush does happen. But if he takes the info tower right now, he will see. He'll spill the tea, and it will be bad for Kano and Hellmind, because the Foshb will have no mercy on these tanks whatsoever.
And Kano in the 1-1B, kind of calling it off here. You can see it. He's like, alright, I got spotted. Either the Batchat is leaving, or they have enough to kill us here on the hill. And I think that is why, rightfully so, both of the medium tanks start driving down, as Kvik is going to take the RT strike on the field as well. That's going to be another tool in the box of Yogurt, who are using, Darkside is actually using the strike on towards Mindbreaker, who goes down to 1700, so a little bit of bleed on that 430U. Also Scout is taking the middle strike once again with that E100, so they will have more damage available, as Kvik takes a big one by Trash Panda. That is not what he wanted to have happen, and Liquor and Anabans are now starting to aggress a little bit more on the hill.
And Kvik spots out Hellmind, so I think he knows what's happening now. It will be a repush from Darkside, who are up HP. They've done good damage to this Forge B as well. The Forge B of themselves is starting to clip out on Shockwaves, but Quick with the Forge Shells available and no ability, and the Strike coming out, and the kill from Hellmine as well. Darkseid showing that they're not down and out just yet. Mindbreaker in trouble as well in that 4-to-the-U, trying to run away, will not make it around the corner as Vladislav in the E4 will put him down, and the pressure will not stop here from Darkseid. Continuing on towards Love, who's another isolated target. They quickly abandoned that hill play, Kihan, and turn it around into a 1-2 push, similar to how we saw, I think, Cashback against W turn it into an 8-lane push. Those teams that are holding the hill, they're sometimes a little bit complacent.
And that comes to hurt the side of Yogurt here. Finally, Anabans has arrived in the battle with his Forge B, but how much good is that going to do? Well, probably not a whole lot. Liquor and Anabans not even focusing the same E100. Finally, that's going to start. But it is probably not going to help, as the end of this second Himmelsdorf round is kind of drawing near. And once again, Darkseid, after losing the first one on a map, are going to bring it back. It will be 2-2, even Stevens. And we will effectively be down to a best of 3.
Either of the two teams showing that they are much better than the other right now. Could have been 3-1 for Darkseid, however. I think you could say it. But that puts us into the third map again. Yeah, it was a good repush on 1-2 line. But again, Yogurt, they had that Forge B and batch shot on the hill. I don't know why they're so passive, you know, like the moment that ability gets popped and they see those two tanks, they should just drive at them.
Exactly. Maybe a little bit afraid on the hill here. And just like the first round went 7-0 on Himmelsdorf for Yogurt, this one goes 7-0 in tanks for Darkseid. So both with very convincing victories on Himmelsdorf, but that doesn't really help us get any closer to the core of the issue, which is which team is going to claim spot number 5. And yeah, Quick with that Forge B on the one line. I think he bled like quite a lot for taking the artillery strike. And after that, from there on out, the angles were just working against him. He ended up getting completely demolished. And after that, it was kind of the domino stones falling, really, for Yogurt. You could see the Darkseid tanks just finding tank after tank after tank that were all isolated. And whereas there was one tank for Yogurt then fighting for itself, there was always 3 or 4 from Darkseid just feasting on them. This means that as Pilsen and Himmelsdorf are behind us, Sand River will be our third map of the day. Possibly the last one for both of those teams in OLS Season 3.
We need Keyhand right now, Darkseid, to pull up and just win it out. But actually, at the same time, it doesn't matter, though, because we all predicted the same thing, you know?
Exactly. That's why I'm kind of chilling here. But yeah, Sand River. We keep saying it. The map, as such, has not yet been completely explored, although I feel like these ultra-aggressive cap plays with 7 combat tanks, after we saw it work out at the start of the season a lot, have become less popular because teams are starting to learn how to defend against it. And I mean, keep in mind, if you're able to accumulate 1 or 2 strikes, those will not only reset in the cap, they will also remove a lot of those houses that really obstruct vision and also shots for the resets. They will get rid of all of that, and this in turn means that then the cap play really becomes problematic.
Cashback is pretty good at this slow pressure on Sun River, though. They did it again today. I think you saw it. It's a very clean example of how to pressure the cap and generate a lot of health advantage out of it. If either of these two teams are going to go for it, I'm not sure, Kihan. But, you know, it just came to mind.
Well, let's see. First of all, Yogurt. I don't think they're going for a quick cap play here. They have an RHM, a CS63, an E50M, double Batchat, MBY, and an i7.
Darkseid in return, though, triple BZ, a Mivi, a CS63, an AX, and an E50M.
That could be a cap play, possibly. but it doesn't necessarily need to be. The CS63 can kind of fit the role of the EBR, like roaming the map, generating vision, generating map control as well. Obviously, it's not as good at staying undetected, but it does add significantly more firepower to a team. Oh, good plane. Beautiful plane, even coming out from Quick. C6 tanks. Not only does this mean the replane is immediately available, he also knows that he can kind of safely take the information tower, which maybe might even make him get a level 2 plane. Yeah, exactly, as he does. So Yogurt immediately know what they're playing against, which is full south commit from Darkside. The question is, how are they going to respond?
We talked about this full south not being that good, though, Kian.
Yeah.
Because you lose the entire crown area on the top.
I mean, this crown area that you're talking about is not perfectly shaped for the team that holds it. You can still kind of get punished for peeking, etc. But now that is a lot of tanks from Darkside being committed very close, and those BZs, while they're very meaty, they don't really have a lot of DPM. So if I were Darkside, I would be extremely careful about committing this many tanks close. And I mean, if the tanks of Yogurt then drive down in towards the dried out riverbed, there would be problems for Yogurt to essentially like reinforce with firepower and also with DPM. So those BZs kind of in a problematic position. Depressed, bouncing a shot by Kano, though, finds out where that Centurion is. The E50M getting seen as well in the back lines. And Liquor has already completely taken control over the spawn of Darkside.
Vladislav will try to kill Ramadek slowly but surely. He will cross over and try and find shots against this IS-7. I guess the BZs are waiting to peek him in return as well, but Ramadek seems to be just on the edge of being safe. As Quick will take the information tower, probably use it as well, will reveal all of the positions again. And now the BZ being pushed onto the strike. How does Yogurt react?
Well, you can see kind of right now what Darkside are trying to do. They know that the IS-7 of Rahmedik is kind of by himself. Good strike though, connecting on 2 of the BZs, but the IS-7, it can still get peaked by the MBY of Vladislav, which is kind of what's happening right now. There is no cover available for that IS-7. Maybe now Mindbreaker with a good shot, but immediately takes one in return himself. So trades going a little bit back and forth. Quick once again takes an information tower, which he does decide to hold on to for now. So that's obviously a constant problem for Darkside right now. At any point when they make a rotation, it could get spotted by a bad timing.
You can see Darkside is very, very passively holding, taking strikes, taking positions, trying to hold the angles against the IS-7. I'm just thinking, Kihan, how does either team really get involved here? Like, how do they move in? Honestly, the repush on 1-2 line is kind of obvious to make, but it would have been a very good one.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. This one, I think here the teams are finally starting to realize that, hey, we're playing a really important match here right now, and whoever wins this one is going to go to to match point first. Hellmine taking another artillery strike. Quick in the meantime has used the information tower though, but he kind of sees the same thing that he did already in the past. The tanks by Darkside didn't really move, and so as Yogurt didn't commit before, they're opting against doing that now as well. I mean, the Centurion would kind of be the only tank that could really punish on towards the people driving onto the BZs, but 3 BZs will take a lot of time, and those tanks by Yogurt are kind of squishy if you look at it. They have a Hurricane, they have double Batchet, E50M, RHM. If those commit in, they would very likely blow up pretty soon. The strike does go down on towards Shokorix, a little bit more damage done, and at this point in time, once again, tiebreaker condition would be here that Yogurt so far has done more damage.
Yeah, and they keep finding some shots left, right, and everywhere. With Quick now playing the bushes on the edge, the press taking another strike. I'm just surprised that they never even thought about repushing the Mivi at H1. He's so isolated, and of course they're seeing this because they have the information towers available.
At the same time, if I was them, I'm not sure if I would push, because you know you're winning currently. So why would you try to do a risky play if you don't really need to? Like, it is a good play, and I think the risk would be well calculated to take it. But at the same time, why even take a risk in the first place?
Because you're leaving it up to gamble at the end, Kihand. And that's also dangerous.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Quick, once again, is going to take an information tower. He might even pop it fairly soon, because the second one is up for grabs still, as well. Also, nice play by Yoga, respecting the fact that someone could have pushed up to FG8. I think they even saw the BZ75 there. So, yeah, they don't really want to endanger the light by going there. Thanks once again to AMD for sponsoring OLS Season 3, though. I think even the observers taking a bit of time here, though. Who doesn't have some time to react is Dries, as upon getting spotted immediately gets double tapped.
Good plane coming out. Good strike coming out as well. Ramadik actually taking a strike himself, and now I think Darkside is starting to come to the realization. Dries taking another strike. No, that missed. It was on Scout and Shockworks, actually. Never mind. I think now they're coming to the realization that they gotta do something.
Ooh, Rachmedik, in the meantime, taking a lot of damage, though. I think Darkside realized this IS-7 is the isolated tank that they can focus on for the time being. The Batchat of Yogurt has relocated a little bit, possibly to be able to support. You can see they're trying to support the IS-7, who is down towards less than 800 HP. Another good shot by Vladislav, who is getting punished from the middle for this. But Rachmedik on a one-shot now. The artillery strike on towards him as well. Possible one-shot for the MBY even. A counter baby strike in towards Vladislav, but Kano with the Centurion to pick up the first kill of the round. Advantage Darkside.
Tikihan, now we come back to the question earlier. Why would you make a move when you feel like you're ahead? Because you can end up in this scenario. Now they're gone down. Mindbreaker is pretty low as well, down to 600, and now they have to make a move.
Mindbreaker down towards 200 even in that E50M. Vladislav really paying off in the MBY. He could get pushed at any time, though, by the Batchat of Yogurt. I think that's why he's being reinforced as well by the CS63 information tower getting popped by Yogurt. They're trying to get the information that they need for a push. But is it pushable, is the question. I think they're coming to the realization, no, we've waited too long.
The BZs look like a strong point, right? But at the same time, I think the BZs are actually a weak point. Because two of them are already relatively low, with Rush Panda being the worst. You could actually push on them if you use everybody as a surprise. We've seen it before. We saw the team do it against W, actually. And successfully do it as well. Wrapping around this K-line, it just takes a while. It is well covered as well. There's 3 tanks supporting Dries. So it's not going to be very clear cut to do it whatsoever. And you might even run into superior numbers.
The thing is, the Hurricane of Yogurt was now spotted for making the zero-line rotation. In turn, they only saw the E50M. Now, however, the BZs are preemptively starting to make a move. Depressed, evacuating over the zero-line, running for his life. Unknowingly so, because behind the E50M, there's even 2 more tanks coming to support. The BZ-75s have arrived. They're trying to cut off the reinforcement routes for the team of Yogurt. They're trying to go up, over, and through in towards the zero line as well, where now at this point in time 3 tanks by Yogurt have committed into deeply. That is the question. Dries getting picked up. The Batchat has firepower in the clip.
Yeah, this move here from Darkside is unexplainable at this point. There was 2 minutes left, Kihan, and they opted to go for that push back with the BZs. And sure, they're making something happen out of this, but they're going to lose this double BZ with Scout and Shockerix. Slowly but surely, Anabans will DPM them down. Mindbreaker losing some damage on the drop. Will probably die against Scouts as well, who just came off of reload. But actually, all of a sudden, we're back in a situation where Darkside is still winning for now. And Anabans will struggle to kill this cleanly because of Trash Panda's position.
I'm not entirely sure why the E50M of Yogurt decided to drop down into the dried out riverbed to get killed. And so instead of a 3v2 in Yogurt's favor, we are now at a 2 versus 2. However, both of the Yogurt tanks are on a one-shot. Anavan's choosing not to use his ability, and rightfully so, because it wouldn't heal him up to the damage or the HP required. Trash Panda dropping down, doesn't even take damage for killing the MBY, and now Lovey in the 1 versus 2 does get spotted. Kano in a bush, good timing for him. And Darkside are taking this round number 5 in the match. It was a messy one. Both teams kind of once again throwing against the other, just like round number 1. It was a back and forth, but unlike round number 1, Darkside this time, at the end of the day, win it out, put themselves on towards match point.
Interesting game. I thought Darkside threw it, honestly. With their move with the BZs. I thought they threw it, but then they didn't.
So I think both sides here at multiple points in time threw it. The E50M dropping down is absolutely inexplicable to me, for example. Like, first of all, he almost died on the drop. Second of all, he died regardless. And there were situations by what felt like essentially every player almost in this game. So I guess there is a reason that both of those teams are not going to be making it to playoffs, and instead are very much struggling to even stay in the OLS, which is essentially what this match is for, together, of course, with the 5% of the total prize fund.
Now, Darkside is in position, Keyhand, for a 4-2 and securing their place in the next season, but it has been a roller coaster this match.
Absolutely. For the first time in the match also, Darkside are ahead a point, which maybe is a mental problem for Yogurt. Then again, as always, when it's an important match and someone is on match point, I will reiterate, the last point on the board is sometimes the hardest one. We have seen multiple teams in the past get towards a match point, be in a very comfortable position, but then like the mental strain, the pressure on towards each and every player playing can be too much. And then individual misplays start happening. Maybe the caller is under stress as well, the FC, and he starts making calls that he otherwise wouldn't have made and that normally would have led them, towards victory. So this is by far not over. If the past games are anything to go by, I think it's fair to say Yogurt still has a shot.
Sure, Keyhand, but it's a slim one at this point. It's a very, very slim one. Can they do it? I don't know, Keyhand. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's Ogre.
Yeah, well, it might be.
I mean, Darkside now gets to play from the West. I honestly think West is the better side now.
You might be correct, simply because, like, we saw time and time again those plays where the East takes the South. They're not that effective. I mean, then again, we just watched a game where the team doing that won, but it wasn't entirely down to that decision. If anything, it was down to a whole lot else. Now, as we see, the vehicles picked for the battle so far look very interesting, but that's starting to change. I don't expect to see a Panzer 7 in OLS at any point in time, but yeah, first of all, Yogurt fighting for survival in the AMD Onslaught Legends series. They're fighting against Matchpoint, 277 Batchat, Centurion E50M, K91, Leopard 1, and an RHM. Everyone gets to play their favorite tank.
Darkside in return, double BZ, triple Mivi, an Ures and an SUV. This looks like some sort of a camp pressure like we saw from Cashback already, Key.
It might. The plane this time around from Quick, not as good. He does, most importantly, spot out the double BZ-75 from Darkside that are headed towards the cap, though. The Udas, with its hull-down abilities, might even be able to make the info point, but Yogurt, at this point in time, are not really going for it. Instead, a very weird zero-line rotation with the Batchat, going to do a long north flank. And Rahmedik takes some damage for getting sent towards the artillery strike. What exactly is Liquor looking for there?
I am not sure, Keyhand, what he is looking for. Maybe he's looking for a nice vacation holiday house, I don't know, somewhere in the hills, but the cap has been started, and Ramadic getting reset with Hellmind outspotting him, and the SCRV does have shots. It's a tight angle key, but he does have shots on that strike area, and that is going to be enough with the E50M driving through as well for the BZs from Darkside to pressure K-Line. Trash Panda taking some damage for that though.
Yeah, minus 1k on one of the BZs, and Rahmedek taking a bit more damage. Not sure if it was the STRV or the Udes. Double strike being taken by Darkside, however. They will be able to respond. They started with a lot of HP advantage. They still retain like 2,500 of those. And Quick, don't do the daily, my dude. No, indeed. He is going to continue and not flip.
Position-wise though, this is not really great for Yogurt. You have this singular bad shot taking C1, but he's about to get repushed, or might get repushed even by a Mivi. And if that happens, it's going to be bad, but no cap pressure at least, I'll say that much. Which is weird, because there's no strike control for Yogurt.
I mean, the info point getting used now, and Liquor deciding not to shoot, which is probably a good thing. As he doesn't want to reveal that he is there, doesn't have any backup whatsoever. He might still passively reveal himself by simply providing the spots for his team, but that remains to be seen. Hellmind in that Udes, keep in mind the Udes also has really, really good camo values as well, so if not for a plane or an info tower, he should be able to stay unspotted in those bushes in the middle of the map. Together with the gun depression, he's kind of in the perfect position if it were not for Liquor, who could be shooting in towards his side.
Now Dries is starting to make this repush that we talked about. Liquor is the one holding in the base. How much damage do they do to Dries for making this move with Scal from the underside? 2 shots seems to be it. That's pretty cheap, Gihan, to take back the base. They will not catch this bad shot though.
Now, Liquor, I think, was fully aware of the danger of the play that he was making. As we speak, though, in the middle of the map, a lot of damage being taken by Yogurt. That is down to the strikes being used, and Liquor chose to not completely evacuate. He is in this annoying A1 nest that you can also use, for example, in Clan Showdown events for resetting the cap, and he does spot out Scout, who is a little bit bamboozled, doesn't really know where the spot is coming from, was thinking maybe he's still in the base, but... yeah. Rahmedic, 1 shot. He's starting to take HE damage.
Yeah. The strike has been... Ooh, 1 more HE shell.
A strike would do it as well, and indeed, Rahmedic is going to be the first kill of the game. Kano to pick it up in that STRV, and man, Liquor must be sweating right now. That is a BZ75, that's very close. Finally, Liquor does start to get support from his fellow medium tanks in the A-line of Yogurt, and I think the BZ75 is starting to suspect that the Batchat might be in A1, but he can't not get close enough.
Like, Scal right now is very well not covered at all.
I think he's starting to become aware of this fact, starting to drive away as well. Mindbreaker this time around, once again, starting to drop into the lower water with the E50M. This time around, he has more HP to back it off, though. I would like for LeVay to go there as well, because right now he can be shot from the upper side. Scout, however, starting to melt. The Batchat of Liquor coming in, and just like that, Yogurt equalize the tanks and are ahead. 2,500 HP in damage. The Leopard 1 of Anabans also available to put shots in towards those tanks of Darkside that might try to push, but I think at this point in time, they don't have the HP to do so.
And just like that, Yogurt ends up being in the better situation. Mindbreaker peeks that, though. He needs to be careful. Kano is covering that from with the SCRV. More damage being taken. I think the SCRV given 1 as well. Double strike still available for the side of Darkside. Mindbreaker in that E50M will be in some sort of a trouble, and yeah, the K91 there needs to be careful as well, because I'm not too sure about how safe the press is either on that little outside perch area. If he gets spotted, I think the SCRV could shoot back, but there comes Dries, makes a bad peek as well, down towards the 2-shot.
Once again, very messy plays being made by either team. Yogurt up 3,000 damage roughly, or 3,000 HP roughly, I should say, as Quick is going to take the info tower. How many info towers has he taken on Sand River in those 2 games alone is the question. But yeah, I think for Darkside, the problem here really being that they're down on damage being dealt, but they can't really generate a kill at this point in time. The K91 that was kind of by its own is now supported by the RHM of Quick. I mean, the RHM by itself cannot really go for the MVY, but he does generate a lot of map control, and that is information for the team of Yogurt as to where Darkside is not pushing.
And his double Mivi's getting outspotted as well. I think that's Liquor. Ooh, Vladislav takes a shot. The press does get spotted out for this though. Hellmine will go back to counter that. Good shot there from Kano in the SCRV. He must have done a pretty decent amount of damage already so far. Finding numerous shots. And Hellmine trying to find something here. Finds nothing. And the press gives a shot on towards Kano. That's the plane coming in as well. Does get spotted out now. So Hellmine gets spotted as well. He gives one to the EX of Love. Good connection there again from Kano on towards that K91. 3 minutes left, Gihan. It's going to be a last minute decider.
Indeed. Both teams once again looking for the last minute plays. Shockerick starting to chase down the RHM as Trash Panda is making a move through the lower side, and he might find Liquor, but I think Liquor should be able to 1v1 the BZ75. However, the bad shot, I mean, does he see him behind him? I'm not sure he's aware that there is a BZ behind him. He's not even moving his turret. Finally, he started to notice, and he's like, oh crap, the BZ is behind me. Starts to open up on towards Trash Panda. Doesn't have the shots in the clip, however, to finish this off. And now Vladislav and the STRV of Kano finally starting to come in. Liquor in a heap of trouble, but Mindbreaker with the save from behind is going to pick up one of those MVYs. The STRV, as soon as it's in the fight, also struggling a lot. Liquor on the long reload takes one by Trash Panda. Might be going down against the BZ. Wants to evacuate. Kano getting picked up by Mindbreaker, who makes up for his earlier misplays.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a tiebreaker after all, as Thrice falls as well. Trash Panda does find a kill, but it's a 3-on-5 at this point. Mindbreaker finding another kill, and it is going to be decided nowhere else than the tiebreaker itself.
And I think nothing else would have suited this matchup in between Yogurt and Darkside. It is a match that is characterized by both teams making a lot of, let's say, avoidable mistakes, as Hellmine tries to get enough gun depression, finally succeeds. Sometimes the siege mode of the Udas can be pretty annoying. Depressed with the superior DPM, and Anabans to help him is going to reign supreme. And in the meanwhile, Shockerix still chasing that RHM. Not even sure he's gonna get it.
I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna get it whatsoever. And it's going to be a tiebreaker. Who has the faster win, Kian?
I guess we have to check in our big cheat sheet to find that out. But production always on point does inform us it is a Yogurt on Himmelsdorf that will be able to decide the sides for Morovanka. What would you normally pick?
North, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's kind of agreed between most of the teams, at least, that North is kind of the better side, but that obviously doesn't guarantee a win. LeVay starting to drive in, gets some more damage to pad his stats with the Ram, and Anabans to pick it up. Yeah, let's put it this way. This match does not deserve a winner yet.
No. And yeah, this round was also filled with lots of stuff. You know, the BZ, their scout, he was a bit slow in the realization that we also made that, you know, they're up a gun and he is not in a good position. He tried to back away, but it was too late.
Yep. At that point, the E50M and the Centurion teaming up together with the Batchat. Turns out 3 mediums shoot through 1 BZ that has their the butt turned towards them pretty quickly. Yeah, one more question to be answered. How much damage did the STRV actually do? And it turns out Kano is top of the board for his team, and he cannot really do a lot more. Then again, we have some... Oh, you have to ask some questions about the pen rate. That possibly was on towards the turret of the 277, which then translated in towards the first kill. But yeah, Scout. 1 shot of damage. Well.
That BC was the linchpin.
Yep. And it was removed by the side of Yogurt. And the thing is, Yogurt didn't play clean either. For example, I called out Mindbreaker very early for taking a lot of damage. Then again, he came in clutch later on. So, after Pilsen, Himmelsdorf, and Sand River, we are going to transfer to the lush greens of Muravanka for once again, maybe in the Magic Forest, things are going to be decided.
Did they pick a side yet?
Let me check that for you. Yogurt picked side 1 north.
Surprise, right? What an absolute shocker. It's kind of what I would pick as well. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win, Kihan. I'd say I don't know. I'd say Darkside still, but...
I mean, I might sound like a smartass here, but taking a look at all the other games that we saw in this match so far, the side that will do less mistakes. Now, which team that will be is absolutely unpredictable.
Yeah, I don't know. If you lose a prediction to Eek, then I don't know, Kian, you might as well retire, I guess.
I mean, I am already casting, not playing anymore. I should tell you enough.
But buddy. Let's take a step back. I'm already casting, not playing anymore. My man out here talking like he was playing or had an opportunity to play before he was casting.
I got my golden fists.
Dude, you're like Messi from Temu, bro. Like, relax.
Messi from Temu. Holy crap. But yeah, once again, our predictions coming in. They're down the drain at this point. Ikibu is still with a chance to get it correct. Finally, a person from the UK that is able to, get closer in the predictions than Moff, huh?
Wow. Wow, you see that Kian's really hurt by the Messi from Timo comment. He starts lashing out to other people. Unbelievable.
Uh,
Don't worry, Kihan. Soon you'll be able to go back to sleep and forget all about tonight, you know?
don't worry about it.
Another night of oppressing memories.
What do you mean I cry myself to sleep after something like this?
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
I'm sad to shatter your hopes.
I bet you go home and you watch that
case.
one tournament you got to play with Fame when they were like putting you in as a pity card, you know?
What do you mean putting me in as a pity card? I literally, for the last game, replaced the MVP of the entire tournament, I'll have you know.
Nice, bro. I guess if you tell a story enough times, maybe you start believing it yourself, right?
Nah. It's just my usual deflection mechanism. Anyway, though, both of those teams won't be able to deflect a decision because we are going to have one on Moravanka sooner rather than later. In around about 30 seconds, the lobby is going to get started, and if there are no resets, then this will be the last game for both teams actually in the AMD OLS Season 3, as both of those are not going to make it further. So this still, for both teams, is also the most important round they will have played all season.
Yeah, it's a very, very important round, all jokes aside. The winner of this has so much easier time, you know? They get to relax, potentially even go like on a summer break, you know? And get to prepare for the future.
Yeah, and for
the other
team
one
that loses here, it's going to be once again down in towards relegations. And if the last season is anything to go by, you don't want to be that team. Anyway, though, Yogurt and Darkside, this round, it's do or die for both of them. It has come down to Moravanka. Batchat, double Leopard, Foshby, 268, and the double light tank with the EBR and RHM coming out from Yogurt.
Darkside in return. Mouse, K91, 43U, double Foshby, EBR, and RHM. Neither team really fully committing to an aggressive strategy here. But I will say Kihan Darkside, with that double light facing the rat tactic in a way, they're actually in a pretty decent position.
I think so as well, to be honest. This K91 430U combination is going to do really well against the double Leo, as both teams with the initial planes see the medium tanks of the opposing team, but both plane lights also are not able to get a replay. And this is why Trash Panda gets away with taking the info tower. Vladislav and Love spotting each other out. This means that both teams are kind of aware that they're playing against double light, and they will be like, wait, this was not what we had in mind.
I mean, Darkseid did get the info tower, so they know everything at this point. Ramedik tries to, he gets a reset. Dry's now starting the cap. There is a strike available on the eastern side of the map. Kano does not have a mini strike whatsoever. He's trying to reset Ramedik, but Trash Panda doesn't have a plane, so all information will be given to both of these teams. Once that gets activated, there it is. The entire team lights up like a Christmas tree. And now it is going to be pretty good map control for Yogurt, though. Even denying the F1 strike. If you're Darkseid, this is a little worrying.
Exactly, Scout in the mouse now driving towards the strike in the middle of the map. Trash Panda getting denied from taking the outside info tower. Takes another shot on the way out. This is going to give a plane towards Quick as well. And now Rahmedik trying to steal the artillery strike from the mouse in front of his very eyes is going to succeed with that. So Scout driving in with that mouse might do his team a big disservice, actually, as that is a lot of HP for his team. Essentially a sitting duck in the middle of the map.
I mean, Rise is still capping, however, that doesn't really mean anything because there is, of course, the strike available. Quick has the plane as well. They will spot out Rise. They will need to use it. There comes the strike. Rise might even try to dodge it. Doesn't succeed at dodging it. It was close though. I like the move, and now the double force B pressuring down this Leopard of the press. Can he get out?
Can he get out is the question. There is nothing really to support him. The RHM is running away as well. Depressed might get caught here. How do you respond is the question. They're responding with a push through the middle of the map. Maybe, no, I think they're trying to support Depressed in that Leopard 1, and realistically there is a lot of open ground to cover for those forces, so they might come in with a good trade for this, depending on how many shots they will actually be able to connect. Shockerix takes one only so far on the cross, is in the healing part of his ability though. Depressed getting spotted out once again, the mouse in the middle of the map in the meanwhile not really getting repressured on his part. So right now the Foch, I think Shockerix is kind of waiting for support, but people have turned around, no one's coming. Instead, Liquor will be able to support Depressed. When will Shockerix have his ability available again? That is the question.
Oh, and now he's getting peeked by this Leopard, and it's Mini Strike coming out as well. Liquor coming in as well. Now Shockerix has the choice to make. He does get the ability, starting to clip out as well, but they want to kill this Forge B, and they will find him as well. Strikes coming out from either side. Shockerix dropped low though, now in the healing part, but Mindbreaker from behind picks it up, and it's looking like Yogurt in this battle is finding some great success to potentially stay into Season 4. They're up 3000 HP, Hellmind low as well, and the rat tactic, it's working yet again as Depressed and Liquor move on to Hellmind, who's on reload but healing. It will not do much for him. He's gonna die against this bat shot nonetheless. 2 tanks down for the side of Darkseid, who now have to find the impossible to stay in the season guaranteed that's following up, or it's gonna be the tough hell of relegations.
Absolutely, the double Foch B move over the one line, it looked good until it didn't. Kano even with the flank move in the Kane Handy 1, but it's not going to mean much. Liquor, meanwhile, picking up Trash Panda, and that makes only 4 tanks available for Darkseid. Make that 2 and 1 as all of them get killed. Vladislav out in the open. Darkseid, they were ahead in points coming into this match, but it is not going to mean anything. Yogurt, they lock in the spot right on the money. They are going to secure place 5. They are going to secure their spot in the next season of OLS. It is kind of a heartbreak. Then again, I think both teams showed why they are not going to be part of the playoffs, and at the end, well played to Yogurt.
Unbelievable. Yogurt not only beating the odds ski hand of making it to phase 2, but also beating the odds yet again to make it to season 4 locked in. Darkseid can still make it as well, but their path has only become more difficult.
Their path has indeed become more difficult. Then again, I think still Darkseid, formerly Solyanka, are a team that are not to be underestimated when it comes to going up against teams coming in from OCS. I think there is quite a discrepancy in player skill and also in team skill, in caller skill. Although we have to kind of ask the question how Kirillo, who are obviously the team that won OCS Season 3 here, are going to fit in. But yeah, clean victory. Another 7-0 coming out. Scout in the mouse, trying whatever he could do, but wasn't able. Trash Panda, only a single shot of damage. And Larata is going to secure the tiebreaker. Yogurt must be smiling right now.
Yeah, I bet they're very happy to make it this far. They get to chill now for a while, watch the playoffs, see what happens, and watch to see their comrades from Darkside, whether they will make it through that relegations or not, where hungry teams are waiting.
So, this was it with the match deciding who will be 5th and 6th. However, there is one more match that will be played. I believe it will be Hit against W, so quite the banger coming up. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
All right, here we are back again to the last match of the day, Hit versus W, and I just checked on Liquipedia. By the way, did you know, Ducky, World of Tanks Liquipedia recently was promoted to one of the top tier Liquipedias, and there I was able to see that realistically in this in this match, things are not really going to change anymore position-wise. Hit and Run already confirmed first, W already confirmed third because Mafia lost to Cashback earlier today. However, and that is a big however, if you know both of those teams, and I'm sure you do, then you will be aware that Hit doesn't really like losing, and for Frugo playing against Hit, it's always personal.
For sure. But at the same time, Doki might be personal, but I think they also realize not to give away too many strategies whatsoever. So I'm not sure what kind of a match we are going to be getting here, but I don't think either of the team will be giving it their 100% best strategies that they could imagine.
No, I think we are not going to see anything that is like super crazy, anything that the teams consider to be like 100% win that they have already stored in the box for the playoffs on the weekend. However, maybe what we will see here is going to be a bit of a different way of playing, where teams are like, all right, we have this funny strat that we tested during trainings, but there it ended up kind of not working out most of the time, but it's still pretty funny, so let's try to use it and see what happens.
Ketsai, standout player for Hit and Run. I mean, he's their dedicated light tank player now as well. I think this man could play anything, you know.
Yeah, at this point in time, 2.3 KD ratio as well. More often than not, he's able to outplay the opponent's lights. And like in the middle of the season, we were questioning, or at least I was questioning, you weren't, kind of the light tank players on Hit, but Ketsai really shut those questions down. Absolutely. Shot them out of the air. He has been crushing it in just about everything that he's playing. He's mostly playing, as you said, light tanks, and if there are no light tanks to be played, then Inspire Medium, which also is a crucial role and a very difficult one at the same time.
Yeah, the light tanks are very, very important. Yeah, we questioned it a lot for Hit and Run, how they're going to do without Mentals, and they've done very well this season, Kihan, ending it in first place in the regular season.
Maybe Mentos was the problem, Kappa. I don't think he was. That guy is an exceptional player in his own right, and he is going to be playing against his former team because Mentos has gone to W. Quick detour trying out with Cashback, but this is now where we stand. And Hit, the team that kind of struggled a little bit with adapting to Onslaught. They were one of the, if not the best VOD 7 teams, are finally back where they probably see themselves on the top of the board of the regular season. They've absolutely been crushing it, and they are ahead by point difference right now. But if they get a singular point even, then the point, like the round difference, doesn't matter anymore. Hit would win by points straight up. Maps in between both of those teams. Hit removing Himmels. W doesn't want to play Ghost Town, so we are going to start on Ensk, a map that Hit really likes. Over to Westfield, which is once again very quick, very fast-paced. We are going to expect shootouts on it. Pilsen Studzianki being removed. Cliff, kind of same story as Westfield, to be honest, and Cliff, actually the map that W won Season 2 on against Cashback. Moravanka removed, giving us Sand River as the tiebreaker, so we are going to have 3 very quick maps to start it off.
It's going to be pretty fast matchup altogether. I really wonder how serious these two teams are going to play. Maybe it's time to bust out the Type 5 key hand.
Maybe it really is a time. Or maybe the stage 2, something like that. Could
It's
also
too
be a
normal
thing.
still.
You heard it first. Normal pick for Onslaught.
It's actually
Don't
pretty
try
good
this
on a
in
lot of
Euro.
maps. I just wouldn't recommend it if you're in silver. Or in gold.
There we go.
Or if you're just barely a champion.
I think that is right now kind of Darky remembering all of his teams in Onslaught being like, oh no, another silver stage 2 on my team.
Yeah, something like that.
I have played 0 stage 2s so far, and I decayed back into silver, so maybe now is my time to shine later today. But yeah, anyway though, in between all of those players here hit against W, I think most of them are going to be easy in Legend anyway. Maybe some 268s as well. We saw one 268 V5 being played, I think, on Tuesday on Ensk. It ended up not really convincing me. Then again, I mean, the team didn't lose because of the V5.
Prediction-wise, we're all on the same boat, though. 4-2 for the hit and run. All of us.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fair considering how the teams have played in the season as well. And even if we are maybe not going to see the last pages of the strat book being opened by either team in this match, then still it is going to come down to like cohesion, player communication, because that is something you don't need to hold back on, right? If it is about communication and working well together, if anything, you want to do it here because the best kind of practice is actual season games.
Let's see, Gihan, let's see. Let's see what we're gonna get. I mean, if there's one team that I could imagine doing some trolling, it's WK nowadays.
Yeah, which is kind of weird to say, because I think in the other seasons, I remember at some point Hit had a triple Fosh 155 strategy against, I believe, Cashback, and they ended up completely losing out on Ensk. But maybe they're just going to play Bog standard, and they are just going to train communication, shooting, etc. Because realistically, that is what both teams are going to take away from this match. And looking at the tanks, I mean, it does look normal. 3 mouses, 1-1-2-1B, and triple E4 for W.
Yeah, very normal. Hit and run and return, triple push B, 4 to the U, 1-1B, and a double mouse. No trolling just yet.
No trolling yet, if anything. This is basically single shooters versus autoloaders. Both of the teams having a 1-1B for that Inspire available. So 2 standout players are going to be placed in those tanks respectively. Got You Baby against Ketsai. Although you have to kind of question how much the 1-1B can do. First of all, though, the W tanks are able to do a lot on towards the Mouse of Monster. Those E4s driving down the rails, booking it, provide the spots for the E4s and the 375 pen. Obviously, no issues at all going through that Mouse now. However, they spot the triple Fosh B, and they start becoming aware of what might be transpiring here for the team of Hit. Baby trying to get damage, but by doing this, he's going to reveal himself, possibly open himself up towards a charge of the Fosh Bs, but those are now starting to drive in towards W. Good strike coming out. Pan's Fury taking a lot of damage, but he is going to reduce that. Ios standing sideways, trying to tank for the team of W, but the Fosh Bs, they're still not out of steam. Will be soon, though.
Now, can W find something here? Baby running back in altogether with that 1-1B, getting chased down by Farnik and Ketsai, but it's Panzer Fury and Click that are going to be the first ones falling. Click, his first appearance for Hit and Run, was right in the bench until now, and he's going to be a short-lived one as well, as W in round number 1 seem to be holding strong. They're up 2 guns, but make that one now, still a one-shot as well. They need to find more, and these mouses in the middle are looking a bit juicy altogether.
Good shot by Frugo in towards Monster, making him one-shot. Mentos to pick it up. Once again, gun discrepancy. There is 2 advantage. A trade by Ketsai on towards Klurf, who goes to a one-shot. Franek, another shot in towards Jakafar, who does end up reloading in his E4, gets killed right after. Will Franek be able to shut down Klurf before he reloads? The answer is yes. So gun parity has been established. It's all about the shootout. Frugo also running with his one-shot E4 at this point in time. W up 7,000 versus 3.4. 4, but another kill comes through, make that 2 for W. It is going to be round number 1 for the supposed underdog.
And then they're showing that they can brawl it out with a hit and run. DJ and Frank, the last two standing. The exact role is what DJ needs, but a pen would be the first step towards that. He will not get it. IOLS in return, not fluffing it. Itox finishing it off. Frank, the last one standing. Good start for W.
Good start indeed for W, and a good sign from them as well. They're not afraid to go into those brawls against hit and run. That is probably the team that is considered to be one of the best in those shootout scenarios, but W going toe-to-toe and edging ahead in this match as well. It's going to be 1-0 after Franek will finally succumb to the shots that are put on towards him by the W players. It's going to be Itox to pick it up. 1-0 W.
1-0 for W and Ensk, and well, it's a good start for them, but it doesn't really mean too much. This is going to be probably a back and forward match, I would imagine, with either team taking rounds from the other, because we got a lot of quick maps coming up, Gihan. The pressure will not stop coming.
Exactly, and the maps, I think, that have been picked in between both of those lend themselves to this as well. Like after Ensk, for example. I think we have Cliff upcoming later in the match, so both of those teams want to kind of train and practice shootout scenarios. This is the perfect environment to do this. And the perfect environment for Mouses, at least this time. Places 1, 2, and 4 in the damage board.
Good stuff for those Mouses altogether. Good damage spread for W, everything working out. Mouses farming galore, and you see their click coming in, 5, 5, 3. Not the start he would have liked.
No, and especially those shots at the start of the match are crucially important. Because, well, with a Fosh push like this, you can probably expect one of the Foshes to fall. This means that all of them should be making their shots, because the one that falls is not going to be able to make or to deal any damage anymore. So you can even take your time to aim and wait maybe for a little bit of misangling by the opponent. To be able to put in that damage, not able to do that. But yeah, at the end of it, W is still standing, I think, with 7,000 HP. So it was a bumpy ride, but at the end, still sort of smooth cruising for W. That, mind you, did end up winning Season 2. So
they're still reigning champs.
Reigning champs still. They will be until Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, which... well, maybe they will defend the crown even. Phase 1 score coming in, by the way. W winning out 3-1 there against Hit.
I don't even remember this match, do you?
I don't remember either, but it's kind of crazy. W probably
one of the few teams.
One of the few teams to actually beat Hit. Which is kind of a three-way tie, coming to think about it, because W beat Hit. Hit beat Cashback at some point in time, but Cashback ended up beating W, so... everything to be cleared up, I guess, in the playoffs on Saturday and Sunday.
Now, round number 2 on Ensk. Imagine W wins this 4-0.
I don't think we could take away too much from this. Because, well, let's say this one goes 2-0, and then we go to Westfield. Maybe Hit is just like, yeah, we don't want to show strategies. Let's see, maybe we can just win by playing standard, and that's going to be it. And then they end up not winning, and then it's a 4-0, and I don't think they're going to care as much as if there was a lot more on the line. W, this time leaning a bit more in towards the TDs. Triple E4, double Fosh B, a 1-2-1 and a mouse, not that heavy.
Hit and run and return V4, double Fosh B, double 4 to the U, and double mouse. So they're sticking to that double medium strategy.
Yeah, W really taking inspiration from Season 2/Season 1 meta, with the Juggernaut TDs coming in. Hit and run, more on towards the super heavy/DPM side, both sides, of course, with the Fosh B as well, ×2. So they have quite a bit of burst potential to add to the lineup as well. And I think Hit with a little bit of a cooking strat coming out, sending the mouses through the middle, but everyone else over the field. Baby might be very exposed in his 1-to-1B as he immediately gets spotted out by Franek. However, he does see the triple TD being pushed up by Hit and Run, who have also taken a lot of damage, just like in the first game. This time it's DJ to take the punishment in the mouse.
Now Hit and Run rolling down with their TDs though. DJ taking a lot of damage down towards half. Frugo here in the 3 just spotting it out. Klurf, Baby, Mentos all arriving. They're just waiting for the opportune moment. Frugo pops the ability, pops the attack as well, and his HP is popping off as well, but the other way around. Down to 641, but he's alive, and that's all that matters. A strike coming out does a lot of damage as well, but now the entirety of W converging back on towards these tanks from Hit and Run. As T-Sec is down, the ball keeps rolling. Now they're going on towards that V4 of Monster, but these Forge Bs are running out of steam, but luckily enough, they've got E4s to make it up, as Ios puts Monster down. Ketsai now running away, but he's going to be running away with his tail between his legs on 330 HP as W pulled this surprise repush on towards Hit and Run.
And I think good decision making by W to wait here with Frugo, especially with the engagement staying unspotted in the trees, only now shooting and then complete re-engage. The problem for Hit and Run being that this push was telegraphed from a mile away. It seems to not be quite over. Frugo getting caught in the Fosh, but Katsai shut down. This makes 7 versus 3 players, and even Baby coming in to try and save his team captain that is above a one-shot in the Fosh B as well. Jakupa from the backside to shut it down. Hit and Run getting schooled on their map pick of Ensk.
Yeah, it's going to be 2-0 for W moving into Westfield?
I think Westfield is the next map, yes.
Yeah, quick game. Quick Ensk over in like 6 minutes. W takes it 2-0. They're probably pretty happy about that.
Yeah, as we said, for especially Frugo, it's always personal against Hit. And I mean, Mentos playing against his former team maybe has some personal motivation of his own going into this one. The same thing can, of course, be said for the players of Hit as well. I think it's fair to say that they probably didn't like Mentos leaving on his own, and they would like to, you know, put a little bit of a statement in here, but unable to do so far. I think the W reactions in this match were absolutely on point. Initial damage on towards the mouse, transition over, and just punish the tanks pushing you. Franek, I mean, you know, he tried, but in the end, it didn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And the good damage spread again from the W side. Frugo with the interesting tree there, spotting everything until he pops the ability. Survives is the most important part. He eats the volley so his team can repush.
Exactly, I think he survived on like a 2-shot, then started healing up again as well. So good play by W coming out. Good individual play as well by Frugo. I mean, sometimes he is the point of criticism for individual plays, but we also have to give credit where it's due. And this means that Westfield now is going to be our map number 2. However, I really like that word today, don't I? But yeah, Hit losing their own map pick, which means what's going to happen now?
I don't know, Keyhand. Maybe Hit and Run will win W's map pick 2-0, because it feels like that's what you're implying, but I don't know, we'll see.
They really like doing that. Yeah, let's see. It seems like W were also able to just pull together on Ensk, and against a team like Hit that really thrives in the scenarios of chaotic shootouts, it's impressive to see that W are unfazed by this completely. And with, especially in the second match, with the reactions as a team, just finding out what exactly it is that Hit is doing, and then up on call, return with a repush. It's really good and really impressive to see that they're able to execute in such a fashion.
And for them, you know, they're looking for a confidence booster going into the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Although I think a lot of players on the W team are very confident. Maybe they don't even need a booster for that, but it's always nice to have it.
What are we expecting? Do you think Hit and Run cares, though, Key?
we saw during WCI that they care about everything, every little match that they play. They were already qualified for the playoff stage there, and people were like, are they going to hold back now? Turns out no, they completely stomped. Who was it? Or no, they didn't stomp, but I think they played against Dopamine and won in tiebreaker there. So, yeah. W looking to go on towards match point, and I think they're not looking for a shootout. Batchat, CS, K91, Leopard, Foshby, and Double Light Tank.
Double Light on Westfield versus Hit and Run's 0 Light Tanks and AX for Blitzkes, a Foshby, and a 268 keyhand. We saw how well this worked for cashback. Something like this.
Yeah, so W is going to play the outside, Hit and Run, most likely looking for a cap play. They could also just drive into the middle of the map, though. And, oh, it turns out that is what they are doing. So, W, they need the information, and they do get it. 6 tanks spotted immediately. Good plane by Clerf coming out. He's going to get the replay for this, of course, as well. And W, they were hoping to get the resources on the outside. Turns out they will get none of it. Hit and Run are just able to take map control over the entirety of the middle. An HE reset by the EBR of Ios on towards Franek is going to momentarily take him off the cap. And now Hit and Run, they need something to push on. They need to convert into kills immediately. They cannot allow for this game to go on.
No, they cannot, and they're immediately moving back up, and W playing the wide open tactic keyhand. Unlike Cashback though, W now has tempting map control at least, and chip away.
Ooh, good shot by Ayas there, a good spot as well in towards the 268, which is of course the target you want to focus out at this point in time. Is not able to lower the incoming damage and might be crucial in a shootout later. I think Hit realized that they cannot chase after this very light lineup. They still haven't taken an info tower, so they don't know exactly what they're up against. They just know that it's some kind of light strategy.
But they do have already so much map control though. Pushing through the north, pressuring the AX as well. The strike is available. And now they're starting to pick off Cat's Eye, and the cap is on Keyhand. Sure, Clerf doesn't have a plane though, which I think is the most impactful part here. They might have to blind strike. Mini strike, big strike?
They had an info tower which they used, and that translates in towards some resets as well. And yes, Cat's Eye is probably going to go down, but who is going to provide the resets for now is the question. 2 strike mediums, Baby finally available with a strike of his own. That's a mini strike though. Is he going to connect this? The question doesn't look like he did. 10 seconds. Frugo with the CS might be able to generate something here against Cat's Eye. A shot connects in towards Click, but still 5 seconds. The tanks on the outside are holding those cap points. Currently a strike once again coming in. Is it going to reset? Yes, but only for 10 seconds as Frugo bites the dust.
Frugo falling for that is a bit rough though for the side of W. I mean, they had so much going for them, and now this K91 of Baby getting railed as well. Down towards 500. This cannot be intended. Cat's Eye does fall, and Tisek is in trouble as well. But W had a lot more going for them than what they're showing right now.
Yeah, still W though with the HP advantage, and the cap currently not that big of an issue as it's completely been abandoned by the side of Hit and Run. How soon do the W players realize this? Realize that they need to run against this onslaught of Bliskowitzers that's booking it through the middle of the map is the question. DJ down towards 466. Monster with the Blisker chasing after Itox. Getting fooled a little bit, and behind him is Mentus as well, his former teammate, ready to backstab, but Itox misjudging the situation, getting caught out in the open. I think that was even an HE coming in by Franek, so Itox is gonna get sent to the grave. 5v5, make that 5v3 as W respond with 2 quick kills, but Mentus in too deep has gone too far, trying to look for a way out of it, trying to stay alive, but Pan's Fury chasing after him. Monster as well with the shot. Monster though down towards a 1-shot. 4 versus 3. Yeah,
4 versus 3, even with W giving up more than they should to Hit and Run. I think that's fair. And it's over nonetheless. I mean, even with the mistakes that W made, which I think is fair to point out.
exactly. It was also kind of close, especially on the cap click with the misplay against Clerf, and Pansfury realizing it's all over for him as well, as the remainders of the W lineup do converge on towards his position. Some strikes apparently were still up and available. They do go down on towards Baby. Probably a bit of celebration, as we do have the quick and what looked like pretty easy 3-0 for W.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for a confidence booster. They're currently getting one. Maybe it will make them overconfident, sure, but at the same time, they're very happy. And the difference here between this and Cashback is Cashback went straight for the cap, giving no time to Mafia to really play the angles and play around, right?
Yeah, I mean, how does he get 408 damage with 400 strike damage? Maybe a little bit of ramming coming out from DJ. Yeah. But yeah, overall the damage just not great by the players of Hit. They weren't able to generate those close range engagements that they wanted to against this. Is this a rat strategy? Can we call it that?
Not fully, but kinda.
But yeah, well done to W, because I think with those very fragile lineups, it's always a challenge. It depends a lot on individual player skill as well to recognize in some situations like, hey, right now I could be doing 1 or 2 more free shots of damage, but then I'm dead because I didn't run. So yeah, good job to them. They seem to have put a lot of effort into perfecting this sense in all of their players. And I think both teams are really trying to not show any strategies that they have cooked up. But for now, W, with just playing standard, clearly have the edge over Hit.
And they have a prime position to make it 4-0.
Absolutely. How much does that tell us about what's going to happen during the playoffs? Well, realistically, not a lot. But still, Hit, the confirmed place 1 of the regular season, just getting taken apart with what looks like ease by W is an eyebrow raiser. Let's call it that.
That's for sure, Keyhand. But do you believe in the 4-0?
Phil says yes. I say... come on, sure. Yes. Well, let's go into what might be the last round of the AMD OLS regular season. W wants to finish it off on Westfield, and, well, it looks like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. RHM, EBR, double Leopard 1, K91, a CS that is 4 strike mediums, and the Batchat.
That is a lot of strikes altogether. Hit and run. 5 Bliskowitzes, double AX Keyhand. So, the control versus the push. Which one gets ahead of the other? That's a very, very good question. Which one do you favor here?
I mean, in random onslaught lobbies, I would favor Hit and Run. In All S, I think right now I would favor the W lineup. How many people does Clerf hit with the plane 1? That is problematic.
No info is also info, though.
But it also is kind of okay, because Hit are driving towards the shootout area, the hills, whereas immediately W are taking everything that they can. Strike number 1, strike number 2 with the EBR. IOS, though, might have to evacuate, because the Bliskowitzer, DJ, is booking it towards that, wants to steal that strike, obviously, because that is another reset that would be available for the team of Hit. Clerf has 1 strike available, so they will be able to reset for now, but after that, things are starting to kind of become problematic. I also like that teams that spawn from the north don't really put anyone in A3 anymore. That always looked like kind of a free kill, but as it stands right now, W will be able to reset once. IOS needs the second one. Ooh. So look
That's a big strike though. Gets a reset. IOS taking that strike in front of DJ's nose. Like literally in front of his nose. And Franek is hiding there in that H1 position, waiting for a potential light tank to come. Does that work out for the side of Hit and Run is a good question. Good reset there.
He does have shots in the
Franek is spotted.
Yeah, he didn't get spotted for that. That's kind of... he finally... Yeah, he does get spotted, but does he take retaliation damage for this is the question. Now he is unspotted again, trying to nudge himself up a little bit. No blind shots coming out
No
for
mini
the side of
strikes.
Hit and Run. But yeah, no mini strikes available, no big ones either. Resets need to come in. The plane is, oh yeah, finally going to confirm it on towards T-Sec. And Pansfury in the Bliska takes a reset as well. This is once again La Rata in full effect.
Yeah, the South Strike will reset as well, so that's something they need to go for. Frugo in a bit of no man's land again in that CS63. Not the first time, not the last time either, I will assume. But now you can see Jakefa does have a mini strike. Frugo is taking the big strike as well. That's the mini strike on Panzer Fury again, and he's getting shot by the bad shot from the south. Big strike being generated. Plane coming out. Mentos will now probably relocate. Jakefa finding a shot. Baby finding a shot. Now Monster, Panzer Fury, and T-Sec getting herded together on one position. The strike will hit. T-Sec down towards 473. EOS in between those buildings being very annoying, and now does get double tapped for it. A little bit too much from EOS there in that EBR. Wanting too much too soon.
Ooh, the leopard migration over the open does get spotted though, and just like in the savannah, the shots do hit. But Baby, with the Baby strike, is able to pick up the Bliska of T-Sec. So now Hit and Run need to do something. Cap doesn't work out. They're down a gun. Once again, W seem to be outplaying Hit and Run on an individual level and as a team here.
Yeah, and they're up a gun, so they can play the distance again. And that is going to be very good for them. They're even running away. The CX pushing through the open with Franek trying to find something, but he will not. And Click getting spotted out as well. Takes a shot from Klurv. The CS63 of Frugo already disengaging. Click taking one from EOS, taking another one from Klurv. Franek taking some damage now as well. And the Rats have completely bailed from the positions altogether into the distance and are finding great success.
Yeah, Frugo there once again taking a bit of damage. Mentos might be a little bit too close though, as finally the Bliskowitzers find exactly what they were looking for. The strike does go down on towards Monster. Frugo also spotted, so I mean, Click going down towards a one-shot and Frugo to pick it up. So once again, gun advantage for the team of W that are also at this point in time playing with less HP. And if you're playing against such a light lineup, that obviously is a problem. But a lot of that HP for W is actually on a Baby in that K91 that isn't really contributing. And HE connecting in towards Jakefa. Oh my god! Brutally wrecked, but is it going to matter is the question. Itox with a bounce on towards Monster, still has 4 shells remaining in his clip, is able to pick it up just as Franek kills Ios in that EBR.
Yeah, it's not all over yet. Kratzai coming in. Oh, the mini strike, Franek. Yeah, good dodge.
Oh.
Very, very good dodge there from Franek. No more mini strikes available right now. The plane will come out and spot him out again, but there's nobody to kill him. Baby is going above them all, though. That could be very annoying. The bad shot coming in as well. Frugo still holding the back line. It's a bit of a waste of a plane, though, from Klurv.
Yeah, he wasn't able to follow up the plane with a kill. Maybe he just wanted to know that he isn't really getting pushed at this point in time. But now, maybe Hit and Run know that no plane is available. However, Baby, with 1727 damage, or sorry, HP, is the playmaker here. But he might get found. Good shot by Katsai. Retaliation from Baby. But from the lower side, Pansfury, DJ, both the Bliskowitzers. And they shut it down. It is gun advantage for Hit and Run for now, as Katsai takes so much damage for this move.
I'm not sure who's throwing harder or who's trolling harder.
I mean, the singular strike by Pansfury is also huge now, because if they find out where Klurv is, they can use it. Meanwhile, Katsai in that medium tank, in the Centurion AX, has fallen back as well.
It hit Frugo.
Frugo, it does hit, but now that's the strike being used, but Bliskowitzers, I mean, both of them 50-50 one-shots essentially for the 390 Alpha that both Frugo and the Batchat have, but it is W who need to do something. Itox still could. He still has HP.
Yeah, I took some that very healthy bat, but Alright, let's see how good their strike placement is. Huh? Ah, wait, they don't have a strike anymore, but they should keep this one. No, he uses it.
Oh, uses it immediately. That would have been big to keep this, to kind of understand at some point where the opposing tanks are and maybe catch them out in the open. But yeah, he used it, so now they can once again get back to capping. That what they wanted to do initially.
Klurf still doesn't have a plane, though.
Yeah, Klurf still doesn't have a plane. That is a huge problem as well. Itox is going to go in towards the artillery strike, and DJ booking it in now. He wants to stop this strike from going off. Itox abandoning, does put a good first shot, but does get tapped as well, and might even die towards the Centurion AX here. Indeed, that is what's going to happen. Itox, he wanted to make the hero play for his team, but in this round, Hit and Run finally find a way into it, and this is going to mean the scoreline is going to be 3-1 after all of this. You gotta wonder, where did it go wrong for W? Maybe the engagements that were taken in EFG 890 were to blame.
Well, I don't really want to like imagine who threw Hyder.
Both teams were like, they were very polite towards each other. They were like, oh, kind sirs, here you go. Here's the round for you. And then the other one, very, very, very nice of you, but actually it should be you who should be taking it. And they were kind of arguing back and forth until finally Hit were like, all right, you guys don't want it. We'll take it. Thank you very much.
It was, man, Mentos, Jakefa, Trollage, again, is what I would call that. Trollage.
Or throwage, something in between that. First of all, let's take a look at the post-battle results, shall we? And yeah, T-Sec 0 damage, but after that, kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Key. What's the next map? I want to forget about this last round. I want to pretend like I never saw it. Cliff, alright, great. Is that weird? I want to pretend like I didn't see the last 3 minutes of the battle, you know?
I know that a lot of players rewatch their replays to see if they made any mistakes and if they have something to learn from it. On the W lineup, a lot of mistakes are going to get found, I think. And just like on the Hit lineup as well. This was Game of Thrones, World of Tanks edition.
Yeah, I don't know, Key, what to say. What does a man say?
Sometimes nothing is the best thing to say.
Although Jakefa's move was the most interesting one, though.
It was like, I have a lot of HP. Here, take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The good thing is that the Blitzkrieg's from Hit and Run were shooting HE, though. It's one way to counteract the drop-off in damage, right?
Yeah. The HP doesn't lose damage over distance. But I think it also kind of flies pretty slowly, if I remember correctly. So it is not that easy to use, actually. It is kind of a niche case scenario. It's good for blind shooting, though, as it doesn't have the damage drop-off, as we said. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see a lot of Blitzkrieg's in the coming round, though, as we are indeed taking the trip to Cliff.
For one key hand?
This kind of has comeback written all over it, in my opinion. I might eat my words after this round, but it feels like it.
I don't know, Key. I don't feel like Hit and Run is taking it that serious, but maybe that's just my feeling.
Yeah, but then again, Cliff is one of those maps where, you know, you can just win by opening. You can just win with a call, and then it doesn't matter if you're taking it serious or not.
Sure.
And I feel like Cliff is also one of those maps where either team could just recycle a strategy. This looks kind of new from W. Triple CS, Leo, E50M, double Foch B, so quadruple strike medium, baby for the DPM, and the Foch Bs for the burst. Make that, still 4 strike mediums, they switch away from the Leo.
Hit and run, double 50B, an IS-7, triple CS, and an E50M, and W updating their lineups slightly, 1 less CS and 1 extra E50M.
So where is this going to place us, is the question. The Foch Bs, okay, one of them splitting off towards the 1-2 line. Both of the teams not bringing light tanks, which means they will need to react upon seeing tanks in the middle of the map. Double 50B by Hit. It has done wondrous things in the past, but it didn't look so good in the match against Cashback. Both of them being boosted by the CS63s. Itok's gonna get spotted for taking the crossfire position. And EOS will be spotted as well. Cannot continue up because those 50Bs would murder him straight up. Ketsai, though, able to push him out. The 50Bs at this point in time, however, not aimed. So, finally, IOS is taking that damage. The 50Bs really doing what they want with him. Monster as well with that IS-7 was able to get a shot, and just like that, W lose a tank.
Yeah, he also actually getting kind of dumpster there by hit and run altogether. And
Drakefa with a driving mistake.
Hits the corner of the map. This man's brain is currently not very on right now by the feeling of things, Kian. I'm not sure. Itox is coming in. He misses as well, and Drakefa is going to die. Itox is dead as well. Let's write down 3-2 already, yeah? Shall we?
I mean, we can at this point. 7 players alive for Hit. Itox in the DPM duel against an E50M. He does hit that shot. Quite well done by him, but it is not going to change the fundamental situation. W also, some of their tanks not even close to the hill, so with this commanding position, Hit and Run should be able to generate a round victory.
Maybe now coming back to repush 1-2, but that's a lot of HP waiting ahead of them, to be honest.
Isek, that's by the way another 50B off Hit with a dead crew member. The driver not as bad as losing the commander though, as now Baby and Itox are going to start to peak. They find Pan's Fury, where they eliminate the commander. Not sure if Pan's Fury has a medkit of his own. But in the shootout, this shouldn't matter terribly much. He still has his loader, was able to heal him as well. Baby is going to get caught. Itox soon to follow. Hit and Run go down 0-3 against W, but then one quick round on Cliff, 1 slow round on Westfield, and all of a sudden not looking like a clean match anymore.
No, it's going to be 3-2, and indeed it's now prime position for the full remontada. Almost this round, Eos there on the top round is absolutely getting bullied, and even if he didn't get pushed back with the positions from Hit and Run, he was always going to die, if not against the guys between the rocks, against Ketsai himself.
Exactly, Ketsai had the HP advantage from the start, and now Hit and Run, they looked kind of foolish in the first 3 rounds, but they do demonstrate
Four.
now
There's
that,
4 rounds,
at least on Cliff, they mean business.
They looked pretty bad on the Westfield as well. Don't take that one away. I know we want to forget about them, but...
You said you wanted to forget about Westfield. So I did, and then, you start bringing it back to mind. It's like, okay, the double cross.
Well, that was a round of Cliff. At least Jakefa knows that his driving needs a little bit of work. I'm so scared, man. I'm driving with this guy to Tankfest next month, and I just saw this. We're like, I'm just quickly.
Maybe his IRL driving is better than his World of Tanks.
I'm already looking for a plane ticket, bro.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, first of all, let's take a quick look at the battle results to see which tanks in the Hit lineup excelled. And unsurprisingly, I mean, the E50M at the top here really got the free farm on towards a lot of tanks of W.
Franek doing very well. The 50B is not doing that much altogether, but again, the split is pretty good across the board. Klurf, not getting too much done. IOS definitely not getting much done. Even if Jakefa doesn't drive terribly,
I think it was over at that point.
They have no positions.
Yeah. And they're also playing a man down because the CS on the ramp completely got eliminated right from the get-go. So, yeah, it looked kind of rough for W. Then again, they are still on match point. So the last 2 rounds where W might not have looked like they were at their best might not matter if they win the coming one.
Can they win the coming one? Can they do such a thing? Let's see. Let's see. Maybe too much trolling and now they're getting face checked, you know?
Mm-hmm. Although it would be quite the W thing, actually, to do for Invil, to go down 0-3 in Phase 2 and then win in tiebreaker 4-3. Because that is what W has done in Season 2 a lot. So maybe they just want to demonstrate to W that they can. I know that's big cope, but just wanted to throw it out there.
Let's see the lineups. I'm gonna close my eyes later. I'm gonna have flashbacks to like a Leo driving down a ramp, you know?
Oh no. Or maybe a CS lying on its back.
Or
maybe a Fosh B driving against a rock being chased by an E50M. There's so many moments now where you're like, oh no, no.
These moments, they hunt me.
Mm-hmm. They haunt me even.
Well, I think it's 3-3 now. I thought it was 4-0, and we were basically right?
Mm-hmm. Until we weren't.
Until we weren't.
Well, let's see. I think we'll get in towards the next round. And still, it might be the last round of this regular season and of this match as well. Oh, W, a little bit of an interesting strategy judging by the lineup. Triple CS, double 50M, Fosh B, and Ios, not Jackifar this time with the Grillen, never mind. They are going to make it into a very straightforward lineup. Triple CS, triple E50M, Fosh B, but the hit and run lineup, those 50Bs, they have, make that 3 of them now. They have proven before that they can really blow up the E50Ms.
Yeah, triple B, triple CS, D100. Cat size plane in the beginning will be important, but it's pretty hard to put a bad plane on Cliff, to be honest.
So he does put the plane and he spots 7. Full information
Terrible
available.
plane, he could have spotted 8.
I guess so, yeah. What a hit and run going to do with this information? They are already committed to driving towards the middle, obviously not going to turn around at this point in time. Double CS going to drive towards the ramp, where they are only met with the CS as of right now. Ketsai is going to make it up, and once again we see the move by hit and run through the middle. They are trying to catch those tanks from W that have hunkered down behind buildings, behind stones. Fronic taking a lot of the damage. They're not able to eliminate any of the 50Ms as of right now. Itox finally killing Fronic in the 50M.
This time around, though, last time Hit and Run did this, they were able to blow up those E50Ms. This time they're only finding one. The Fosh B clipping out fully now on reload, and Ios still alive. Frugo's still alive as well. That's the tanks you want, pumping out the damage, and that's what they're doing as well. Hit and Run don't find the kills that they need, and now as a result they're in no man's land with 50Bs on reload of Twitch 2 are already dead, and W finally seems to have stopped the trollage altogether and will now mop the floor with Hit and Run. It's a 4-on-3, yes sure, make that a 4-on-2, but they're running over them with the DPM coming off of reload, and it's not gonna be 4-2 for Hit and Run like many of us predicted. Instead it's gonna be W with the 4-2 scoreline, winning their last match in the regular season. It's not going to change the standings whatsoever, that was already locked, but it is a confidence booster going into those playoffs nonetheless.
Absolutely. W, the champions of Season 2, are going to beat the the regular season winners of Season 3 here, and discounting the 2 rounds that we saw W lose, it was actually a quite impressive performance coming out from W. Especially Ensk was kind of crazy to see how easily W were able to kind of make it happen. So kudos to them for doing that. Ios waiting, just making sure his heat shell is going to hit, and now Ketsai in the T100, trying to play Ring Around the Rosie with Frugo. Doesn't get a shot, does get the shot actually, but does the E50M reload quicker than the T100 with the ability active? I think so. Frugo to finish it off, and W finish off the regular season. 4-2, the final scoreline. As you said, it's not going to change much, but it kind of raises the question as towards how Hit were planning to win this match. Were they planning to win it at all? Were they hoping to win it at all? And yeah, for W, I mean, smiles and firm handshakes all around, I guess.
Yeah, good win for them. Happy noises from their camp. 4-2. Could have even been 4-0. It's a good rehearsal, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, what more do you need?
And for Hit, I mean, you gotta hope that
they didn't take it serious.
Yeah, they didn't completely take it serious, but you gotta hope that their strategies are going to carry them throughout the playoffs. So here we see the final damage numbers, and, well, the 50Bs, we saw it against Cashback for Hit, not working out. We saw it against W for Hit, now not working out. So we probably have to assume that in trainings, it might have worked beautifully. But against teams that have seen this before or that know how to react, which is exactly what W did, posting all of their tanks behind a house, behind a stone, so the 50Bs actually need to commit, seems to not work.
Drakefa, they're recovering. Top damage. Unbelievable. He took that bad driving to height.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, any player can do misplays at some point in time, and will probably do misplays at some point in time. There is no perfect player. But the question is, how do you handle those misplays, and how do you move forward from it? So good for Jackifer to see that coming out. Hit, though, as we said, are still going to be our regular season champions. They are in spot 1. They are going to start in the upper bracket of the playoffs, which are on Saturday and Sunday. Starting in the upper bracket as well are Cashback and W, albeit they have to play a match against each other to kind of determine who is going to play against Hit. And then Mafia are going to start in the lower bracket. But if any of you all saw Season 2, that might not be the worst thing.
Yeah, exactly. W has proven that you can make a lower bracket run and make it all the way to that finals and win it. So no excuses there for Mafia whatsoever.
And now in between those 4 teams that we have locked in for this OLS Season 3, right now I couldn't tell you who I'd favor to win it. I think there is a good claim to make for all of them. Obviously Mafia with the worst and Hit with the best starting position, but that means absolutely nothing.
No, that means they have the easiest road to the finals, but at the same time, though, that is no guarantees whatsoever of a easy finals. You know, you still have to beat the opponents.
Exactly. Now, token earnings today, there were, or are still, in case you didn't claim them yet, 5 AMD OLS tokens up for grabs, but the weekend is going to be a lot juicier, and not only in terms of tokens. Saturday we'll have 10 of those. Sunday we'll have 10 as well. 2 times 5 though there. But on Sunday is also when we'll have the really juicy drops coming out. I think the article announcing it came out today. So as you can see here, on the 25th of May, you will not only have 2 times 5 OLS tokens, but also 2 mystery drops coming out. And yeah, I mean, I do think I see an LT432 in there for the 240-minute one, Type 5 style. I think that one is called Kaiju. And a, what's the last tank? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, another T8 premium tank as well. And then obviously another mystery drop for 120 minutes. So don't forget to tune in then. Here you can see the dates. We are currently on the 22nd of May. We'll have the playoffs of the AMD OLS Season 3 on the 24th and 25th at 14 UTC. That is 16 CEST. Can't wait to find out who is going to crown themselves or recrown themselves as champion.
It will be a interesting 2 days, especially because it's also OLF finals, best of 11 into best of 11 to crown 2 champions in their respective regions. And you can do your part still by buying one of the bundles, which goes entirely towards the prize pool, where the winner of OLS is going to take the lion's share of that with them home.
Absolutely. Prize pool currently at 57,419, but as Darky just said, you can still contribute to that by buying the OLS bundles, of which 100% of the proceedings are going towards the prize pool. Wargaming taking 0 of it. This means I also won't be able to finance a new Lambo. But yeah, these season winners also have a bonus prize. Thanks to our sponsor AMD, it will be an AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D for each one of those. And as all of the teams in the playoffs actually have 9 players, unfortunately, we won't be able to split off one of the chips and send it to you. I'm very sorry, Ducky.
Very disappointed. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep now.
Don't do that quite yet, though, as, of course, after the stream, we'll be raiding this man right here. So if you haven't already, then you'll be able to finish claiming your drops and also just in general watch his stream because, yeah, the man is not the worst player in the world, and that is quite the understatement. That all being said and done, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all on Saturday, guys. Take it away.
I have no idea when the last time was. Because it's not going to be the Ukrainian team of Cashback, the Oxford Legends Series Season 2 winners. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket and cleaning up Cashback.